Hello, hello, hello. Hello there. I am the Shy Doomer. Thank you for coming to my first stream, obviously. Um, this might be a little bit rocky. I'm new to this, so we're just gonna get into it. I Many of you might be like, why do you have a VTuber model if you know me personally or anyone? And that's because I want to be able to roll out of bed. My identity is not hidden. You can find pictures of me online, so I just want to get that one out of the way. Yeah. So yeah, we have a couple of things we have to talk about before getting into the debate at 7. I am not looking forward to that. I've had an interaction with a person that I've debated with, I'm going to debate, and it was yikes. It was pretty yikes, to say the least. Um, One of the mods, can you test the chat to see if it's working? Technical difficulties may occur. Also, if I'm quiet, can you please let me know? Because I can turn myself up then. Yeah, I just need some input from the two people viewing right now. If you don't know who I am, I'm the Shy Doomer. Some people call me Shy, some people call me Doomer, others call me slurs. I am a trans woman. My the closest label politically for me would be like ANCOM. I utilize both Marxist and anarchist theory to come to like my positions and solutions and my view of politics and economics. Um, yeah. That being said, though, because of the material conditions we live in right now, I mostly just advocate for libertarian socialist positions. I think that would be a good step in the right direction, at least, and it's a more doable cause. I'm an American, a filthy red, white, and bluer. I just exist. Lol. Um, Let me check chat. Let me make sure chat is working. Yep, there's chat. Okay. So let's get into it because we only have an hour to get through all this, and I want to start off with something light. This is Picklegate. It's teeing off. If you don't already know, if you don't already know who this man is, if you don't already know who this man is right here, uh, this is Andrew Wilson, also known as Big Papa Fascist. Um, if you call him a fascist, he'll start throwing a hissy fit, even though he called himself a fascist, and he aligns with every fascist I've ever met. He is a slimeball, he is a weasel, he is not someone that I would want to look up to, and I pity the people who do look up to this man. Um, he's extremely misogynistic. He argues that women should stay at home and make the babies and take care of the house while the men go out and do the work because women can't handle that stuff, and society's actually collapsing due to women having those freedoms, right? So that all teed up. If you don't already know who this person is, that all teed up. He's about to. This is Picklegate. I thought it was really really funny, and I think it's a really like fun, silly thing to start everything off with. Get in, get into the groove of things. Enjoy, have some laughs before we have to deal with headaches, and then later on we can have some more laughs after we deal with headaches. So this right here is Picklegate.
I'm supposed to open the pickle jar? I gotta grip it.
Uh-oh, Andrew. If you can't open it either.
Your hand greased the whole top of it. Literally slippery.
Sorry,
I'm supposed to open the pickle jar?
Another opportunity with the...
Grab me a paper towel so I can dry the top of it off.
You're the big, strong man. There you go. Come on.
I can't grip the fucker. Like, I gotta have a way to grip it. I gotta grip it. Try it. You fucker. That
All right, I think you get it, Picklegate, right? This big macho man being like, "Oh, women are weak." I love the fact that he makes the excuse that she greased up, like her hands were oily because she tries to open the pickle jar before him. He uses the any excuse possible. Like he's like so scared right here. Like look at this face. He's like, I gotta do this? Oh no. Oh no, my wife opens these things. Oh no, I never done this. Oh no.
I gotta grip it.
Uh-oh, Andrew. If you can't open it either.
Your hand greased the whole top of it. Literally slippery.
Slippery.
Sorry,
I'm supposed to open the pickle jar?
Another opportunity with...
Yes,
Grab
you
me
are.
a paper towel so I can dry the top of it off.
You're the big, strong man. There you go.
He dries it with his shirt. He dries it with a paper towel. I think at that point it wouldn't be very greasy.
Oh, come on.
I can't grip the fucker. Like, I gotta have a way to grip it. I gotta grip it. Try it.
And then instantly,
Fucker.
pop,
That
instantly opens it.
bullshit. I'm supposed to open the pickle jar?
All right, that's the initial Picklegate, right? So he ended up. We're only gonna watch a little bit of this, but like later on, he copes. Like this is him. This is him coping hard about it. I don't think we need all this. We just need to
California
see.
You fucker. That was bullshit. Bullshit. I listened it for you.
I just want to say for record.
We got a little olive juice. Let's get...
What happened to my hand? What do you mean?
He copes so hard
I
here.
tried to fucking try to open a jar. It turned it. I mean, I gave it all my strength, man. I heard it, right? That's just...
I don't know if this is a gag because that looks like professionally
I've been
wrapped.
stuck here in California for a couple of days getting surgery.
If I can't tell if this is a gag or not, but like that looks really well wrapped. Whoever wrapped this did a great job. If it's a gag, I have no idea. But like honestly, I could see it. He's a wounded soldier. The white race takes another L. Wounded soldier.
He's done. It's been bad. It's been pretty bad. Let me grab the nicotine pouch. Mystery's not even paying attention, dude.
I'm completely paying attention. I'm trying to cue up the Destiny thing.
Not even paying attention, Mystery.
That's how much I'm paying attention. You said you might do something later, and I'm getting it ready in case you want
Not
to.
even paying attention, Mystery. Thank you for the 20, sir. I appreciate it. Let me grab the nicotine pouches.
Oh, also he's like, I'm addicted to nicotine too. I vape, so like once in a while you might see my model freak out. But like this guy like chain smokes and like he has a patch on and then he chain smokes at the same time. It's crazy. Guy's goober.
Oh, there's his purse.
If he wasn't so like
On the chair.
ontologically evil, it'd be funny, right?
Oh, this guy.
That's ironically hilarious. I'm gonna try to open this here. Okay. I'm pretty confident.
You did
Yeah,
it.
pretty confident that
You
these are
figured
Jake.
it
Well,
out.
Jake already opened them. That's what happened. He already opened them.
Oh, well, I don't think.
He figured it out. At least he can open his nick. He has like the motivation to do so, and he figured it out. Good job. Good job. Now let's see. Let's see another right winger. Let's see another right winger open a pickle. Right. Let's see what happens. This is Alex Jones, the man, the myth, the legend. Before he was sued out of like into oblivion. You know, before he like is extremely irrelevant now because he lost many lawsuits and he lost InfoWars because he's a piece of shit that pretty much said that victims of a school shooting were crisis actors, you know? So, yeah. Let's see. Pickle, let's go. If it wants to go. I don't think my PC.
Okay, now we've got it blown up one more time. Seriously, you're watching this, and I've got 4 different containers here. I've already opened one earlier as a test just to make sure my memory was serving me correct. I probably opened 300 of these in my life or more.
Ooh.
More. Okay, and I've got different brands here. It's all the same. It's vacuum sealed. It's vacuum sealed. Okay, boom. See that? This is not product placement. Now dripping all over the mouse pad here. Excuse me. Don't try this at home, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, he got the first one. That's good job. Man, my internet's slow. My PC is dying.
Now, continuing, here is a larger container of Vlasic.
Good
and
pickles.
Again,
As a trans woman, I support very good pickles. Great pickles. I love these.
Now my hands are wet, just what I was talking about. This is not product placement. Again, you will notice you don't open it going like this and then it pops off. You open it by pressuring down and popping. Look at that. I can't even really get it open because my hands are wet. So that's how strong I am. Good God. Look at that. I am so weak. Also hurt my hand last week. I am so weak. I can't even open this. This is real. This is really happening.
So at least he's he's emotionally mature enough. Like he's like honest and emotionally mature enough to be like, I'm having a really hard time with this, and it's because the jar is hard, right? Like, he's not crying about
where's
it.
Hillary Clinton when you need her? I mean, I don't want to look like I'm not manly here. Sometimes you got to bang this up of a table. I guess we got one that was really tough. I can't. This might happen 1 out of.
He's honest about this. He's saying like, I don't want to look weak, but it's hard, you know? At least he's not making every excuse out of the sun. He's a little bit honest here, and I give this turd some props for that move, at least, unlike Andrew.
50. I can't even open this. Give me a wide shot. There we go. So you have to pop it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to pop it. My hands were wet.
Pop it.
Really on there, though. Let me try this one. This is a smaller Vlasic. Now the whole office can enjoy some pickles today. Continuing.
Ooh woo. Hi, Sky. He's lost.
I'm going to show you again. If it, they don't come off like
YouTube pooper here. But I think we get the point. Picklegate, yes. Now, why did I cover Andrew? Well, why did I cover Picklegate? Well, this kind of goes into the debate. I'm going to be on Modern Day Debate, the Discord, to debate, and I'm not that much of a supporter of the institution Modern Day Debate, or what the business, or whatever you want to call it, mostly because of this situation right here. And Andrew. Before Andrew became a prominent figure on Modern Day Debate, like, I actually thought it was a pretty decent channel. After this situation and the current behavior, of the people on modern day debate. Holy moly. I'm not that big of a I'm not big of a supporter. I'll go on there to push my queer agenda, I guess. But I don't really support the channel. I don't really think it's good because this person right here, Andrew, Big Papa Fascist, his followers and modern day debate as a business are interlocked at this point. They are very much relying on each other. Andrew's like a common occurrence. And I think after this situation alone, it would have been good to bar Andrew from ever participating because within this interaction, and honestly within every interaction that I've seen of Andrew on modern day debate, he's been extremely bad faith and behaved in the same exact behavior that we're going to see here. So if you don't know, Matt Dillahunty is an atheist. He typically debates religion, and this is secular humanism versus Christian theocracy, Christianity. I call it theocratic fascism, because I think that's what it mostly is. I don't see it. It seems like Andrew is the kind of person that utilizes having an objective morality given to him by his imaginary friend as like an excuse for his horrible beliefs. You know, like a lot of these fasci types are like that. Like, does he actually believe in a god? I don't know. I can't read his fucking mind. I can't read his mind and tell you what he believes. But it just seems like God is an excuse to have the beliefs he already has, like putting a cart before the horse. The easiest way to justify having monstrous beliefs is with a all-powerful deity that has actually told you that you have to believe these things, right? So let's get into this a little bit. We should be around the end of this. Should be good to go into the debate with, I don't even remember his name, but it's about homosexuality is natural, normal. So we'll get into this and see where we're at after that.
Matt has said he wouldn't make a law stopping 9-year-olds from having sex with each other. Not kidding.
Someone who refers to trans.
Oh, I forgot to say, this is an edit that Modern Day Debate made, and this kind of like shows how they both sides it, even though like one is objectively right and one is objectively wrong. One is objectively being good faith and on topic. One is not, you know. So yeah, here we go. Here, sorry about that.
People as deranged lunatics who will self-terminate if you dare to question them.
How am I wrong, Matt? He just kind of grants himself stuff. He grants himself logic, he grants himself reason, he grants himself an entire worldview, even though he's using an unjustified starting position for it.
When he presented his position here, has nothing to do with secular humanism. From the get-go, it's all about me. Matt think, Matt think, Matt think.
He thinks it's funny to kind of cosmically with people. That's his deal, kind of his whole thing. That's Matt's worldview.
This guy's not serious and I'm leaving. James, if you want a refund, you
well,
let me know.
good day, sir.
Humanism has as its focus.
Like that whole intro, just feels a little bit like unfair to Matt because of how bad you're gonna see. Matt starting off, he has to argue for secular humanism and why it's better than Christianity. Let's see if he does that. Does he argue for secular humanism? Does he give good points about it? And then does he point out like how it's better than Christianity? Let's see how good faith he is.
The betterment of humanity in this life, while Christianity has as its focus adherence to a God and the disposition of souls in an afterlife. Our best efforts in this life are, according to the Bible, like filthy rags. Our best attempts at righteousness and justice are portrayed as vile and disgusting when compared to a bumbling God constantly failing to get his creation to love and respect him, while also prescribing the death penalty for nearly everything: adultery, blasphemy, breaking the Sabbath, disobedient children, witchcraft, worshiping another God, not being a virgin on your wedding night. Which is better for society? Well, I'd
Man, my PC, I have so many, you can't see them, but I have so many tabs open up for today. Yeah, if so, I would say his language is pretty hyperbolic and aggressive towards Christianity, but these are all points that I could see him arguing for, and why, and he brought it back to like how secular humanism isn't like that, right? So we're being a little aggro. We're being a little poking the bear, I guess, but we're on topic.
say the one that has human society as its focus and isn't so intent on killing humans for not buying into a specific doctrine. Heaven and hell, if they were to exist, aren't human societies. What a God thinks is unknown and irrelevant. There's never been a secular humanist nation, either in a governmental form, which I'm not advocating for, or in a primary philosophical view of the majority of the population, which means we have to look at the ideals between these two positions. Secular humanism has been around for 90 years. In 1933, the first Secular Humanist Manifesto was published. It identified humanism as a religion with 15 points. It was updated 40 years later in 1973 with a lot more information. And then it was incredibly shortened in 2003. In addition to the manifestos, there are organizations like the Council for Secular Humanism, American Humanists, etc.
So getting into the history of secular humanism, because it's a niche thing that not many people know of, so letting the audience know and making a case for it, right? So we're on topic. We're informing people what secular humanism is and the history behind it. Okay, good. We're good so far.
In the first version of the manifesto, it's presented as a religious view where it acknowledges there's no supernatural guarantee of human value. We advocate a heightened sense of personal life and a cooperative effort to promote social well-being. The goal of humanism is a free and universal society in which people voluntarily and intelligently cooperate for the common good. In the manifesto version 2, 40 years later, this includes a lot more information. Short versions, they begin by saying those who sign this disclaim that they are setting forth a binding credo. This statement reaches for a vision in time that needs direction. We affirm a set of common principles that can serve as a basis for united action. This isn't a to-do list or thou shalt not list. We're fine with religion's inspiration, but we're opposed to dogma and authoritarian views that place anything above human needs. Religions don't pass the test of scientific evidence. The promises of immortal salvation or eternal damnation are illusory and harmful. Ethics and moral values stem from human experience, and situational ethics stem from the human need and human interest.
Okay, so we're going through the tendencies and the beliefs and the desired outcomes of secular humanism. We're still on point. We're defending our position. So, yep, we're still going good. Good job, Matt. You do a good job. Okay.
Reason and intelligence are the most effective instruments we possess. We are not advocating for the use of scientific intelligence independent of or in opposition to emotion, for we believe in the cultivation of feeling and love. Individuals are precious and their dignity is affirmed. This is important. Us, human beings, affirming the value of individuals and human beings is more powerful than a God affirming it, and it's infinitely more powerful than a human claiming a God affirms this, which is all we appear to have.
So directly saying why it's better, focusing on the reality we know instead of the possible afterlife and the possible creator of the universe that rules over the possible afterlife. So focusing on now instead of then. Hello, Big Yosh. Yeah. So we're still on point. we're not doing any direct attacks. There's no fallacious arguments yet. There, we are seeing good faith debate. Good job.
The third version of the manifesto, in a nutshell, is so short. Whether God exists or not, we have problems to solve. We have to do this without appeals to the supernatural entities or intervention. We must utilize the best methods at our disposal. Reason and science seem to be the primary ones to assess reality and reach conclusions. Justice, fairness, equality, and autonomy are the primary goals. This life, not a hypothetical afterlife, is what we're trying to improve. So what happens when religions control societies and governments, either legitimate or illegitimate? Well, conflicts with other societies and other governments may not have any reasoned diplomatic solution. Need only look to Gaza. But that's Islam and Judaism. Here we have Christianity as a primary and Christian nationalism.
I like that. I like that bringing in like current events. You know, yeah. Pretty much with Matt, all I can do is like, yep, 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 and it's not a critique of Matt necessarily. Maybe a critique later on, but for this, it's pretty much me just gonna be like, yep, because I agree. Also, this is about if someone's good faith. Like, I don't necessarily, if the other person behaves the same way, I will say the same things about them. Let's see if that happens.
Under secular humanism, you get to be a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, gay, straight, socialist, capitalist. You just don't get to impose those necessarily on others through acts of fiat. Not necessarily true with the religions in charge of the government. Mike Johnson's the new Speaker of the House in the United States. He's homophobic as all get out. He's argued to criminalize homosexuality. Homosexualities, by the way, are U.S. citizens with specific rights that he wants to take away. Moreover, he advocates for gay conversion therapy, which is unscientific and torturous, because he thinks he can help them pray the gay away, and the gay can be eliminated. He's not anti-gay. He just wants them to cease to exist as gay. They get to keep
Making an argument of like the harm in comparison to his position. We're still on topic. Good job.
being human beings. He thinks there's no right to sodomy. Privacy laws don't protect everything, and he thinks that what sort of sex you have, it should be his to regulate. Sodomy, by the way, is anal or oral copulation, which I have it on good authority, heterosexual folks engage in as well.
Here's some criticism. Maybe instead of focusing it on an individual actor, he could have pointed out like the fact that there are many sects that like parts of Christianity, churches in Christianity that believe this, instead of just focusing on one person. But yeah, pretty good so far.
2022, he presented what was called the Don't Say Gay bill, outlawing any discussion of gender identity, sexual orientation, or related subjects, which was incredibly problematic because he ignored what the experts have to say about age-appropriate content and how critical it is, especially for kids under 10, which was his target, to have correct language in order to better report on and about sexual abuse. His policy, if it had been implemented, would have made it more traumatic for kids and more difficult for them to out their abusers and easier for abusers to get away with it. Happily, it failed. In 2015, he blamed abortions and the breakup of the nuclear family for school shootings. He also says the teaching of evolution is to blame for mass shootings because we've taught a whole generation, of couple generations now, of Americans that there's no right or wrong, that it's about survival of the fittest. And if you evolve from a primordial slime, what is that life of any sacred value?
Which is honestly really ironic because it's the right-wing position of like might makes right. I just want to throw that one in there. Okay, continue.
He wants student-led prayer back in school. So, Speaker, are you okay with Islamic prayers, satanic prayers, or just particular Christian prayers? He's opposed to the separation of religion and government, sometimes called the separation of church and state. He thinks that the founders only wanted to protect the church from the state and didn't want to protect the state from the church, citing the notorious lying pseudo-historian David Barton to support this view. He definitely seeks to impose his views on others. Now, some of you are saying, hang on, he's the Speaker of the House, he's not the Speaker of Christianity, or that's not.
That's a good job bringing it back to, oh, I might be just talking about one person, but that's good. my criticism has collapsed at this point.
My type of Christianity, great. But what is your type? What's your type of Christianity like? Because there's a lot of them. How is it better? And how can we make sure that we get your better version than the one that Mike Johnson wants? He thinks his version is correct. So do you. Countless denominations without consensus. He's already got more power than my opponent has right now. So I don't know Andrew at all. I don't know what version of Christianity he's advocating for. I didn't bother to look him up. We literally just met and said hello as I sat down here. Is his version of Christianity better? I really hope so, because it'd be hard to get a whole lot worse. But they point to the same
Spoiler alert. It's not better.
book. They point to the same Savior, the same history. Liberal and moderate Christians provide legitimacy and cover to hide the fundamentalists and to allow them to engage in Christian nationalism. Secular humanism allows you to be a Christian right up until you try to oppose it on others, and then you get to keep being a Christian. You just don't get to practice it in the way where you're imposing it on others. You can pray, you can go to church,
Hello,
you can
Retro.
tithe, you can worship, gather, share, discuss, convert, vote based on your values. You can vote against your own best interest. I see people doing all the time. You can teach your kids your values under secular humanism. The foundational principles of secular humanism solve conflicts with data, debate, and discussion instead of coercion, conversion, or conquest. There is no secular humanist sect and no denomination of secular humanists that's ever required someone to believe something that is not empirically verifiable, that's ever ordered the death of another person, that's ever ordered or acted to act or destroy property of any person or government, that has ever overthrown a democracy to impose a secular humanist regime, that's ever been connected with terrorist cells and activities, that's ever denied freedom of speech or expression, that's ever called for the deaths of people for criticizing secular humanism or any religious view, that has ever advocated for or inspired suicide bombers or terrorist attacks. Those things are simply not consistent in any way with the core values of secular humanism. There is no threat to Christians, Jews, Muslims, Scientologists from secular humanism. There might be from scientific skepticism and rationality if you're not able to actually demonstrate the truth of your claim. But life, freedom, and an equitable relationship are the foundation of secular humanism. There is no list of thou shalt not or thou shalts, because we recognize that nearly every attempt at such a list fails at some point as we learn more about our world and about getting better at understanding the world better, about doing better, and being better in this life. The goal of humanism is a free and universal society in which people voluntarily and intelligently cooperate for the common good. If you have an objection to that or a better goal, what is it?
There's a few ways this debate could go. The topic is Christian ethics versus secular humanism.
Pause. Okay, so that was Matt Dillahunty's introduction. Like I said, I'm biased because I agree, but I was trying to be as unbiased as possible by pointing out like how his intro was, right? And I think he kept on topic. He compared Christianity and secular humanism. He advocated for secular humanism. He taught the audience what secular humanism was. All around, a really good argument for his position, while also showing why it's better than his opponent's position, right? All around, really good faith. Let's take a gander and see if the person that Andrew, Big Papa Fascist. Let's see if Big Papa Fascist can do the same. Let's see.
What is it?
There's a few ways this debate could go. The topic is Christian ethics versus secular humanism. Which has a better foundation? The funny thing is, I already won that topic because, as Matt explained to Jay Dyer, he has no justification under the skeptical belief structure to give an accounting for any meta-ethical presupposition he may have.
Already not starting off at a good point. Let's hear that again. Let's hear that one more time, as loud as possible. So we're pointing out, instead of arguing his position and how it's better, he's already doing a bad faith, fallacious argument by saying, oh, the debate's either going to go this way or this way. Instead of actually making a case for himself, he is poisoning the well.
Under the skeptical belief structure to give an accounting for any meta-ethical presupposition he may have. He just kind of grants himself stuff. He grants himself logic, he grants himself reason, he grants himself an entire worldview, even though he's using an unjustified starting position for it. So I'm not honestly all that interested in doing the God not real dough debate, because one, it's boring, and two, it's also really boring. It goes like this. I don't see enough evidence and remain unconvinced there's a God. Then I say, but you use the theistic worldview of justification like there is a God to grant yourself logic and everything else. So instead of that, I'm just going to grant Matt's entire worldview. 2/3 or more of the of this entire planet are all operating inside of a shared delusion that they were created by a sky daddy who loves him some slavery and murderousness.
Strawmanning his opponent's position. Matt didn't bring up if God is real or not whatsoever. It's kind of silly for him to continue on reading like what he wrote beforehand because of Matt's introduction, you know, like it's kind of silly to actually read this and not like be like, oh snap. But this is where he wants the debate to go. Instead of making arguments for Christianity, he's going to only attack Matt's character and also try to claim like this is where it has to go, right?
He thinks it's funny to kind of cosmically with people. That's his deal, kind of his whole thing. That's Matt's worldview.
Claiming Matt's worldview, strawmanning that. True. Yeah, he is debating a boogeyman. He's it's what we call a straw man. He's fighting ghosts right now. He's in the haunted house. He's Luigi fighting some ghosts for real, for real.
So now Matt's right, and the question becomes, should we let them to continue to believe in this nonsensical Stone Age madness, or do we stop them from engaging in it? My contention is, even if God isn't real at all, that people acting as though he is still superior to whatever nonsensical egalitarian worldview Matt can come up with.
I just want to take note of the crowd. She does not look like she's happy to be here. Nobody looks like they're happy to be here. It's kind of a dry thing, I guess. It's not like sports. There's nothing really exciting going on yet, but like the shock of like what's happening so far in comparison. I love how they like pay into the crowd for this only. For only him, not Matt. For only Big Papa Fash.
See, Matt also just acts as though the things he believes are true. He believes, and therefore acts as though logic is real, math is real, everything is real based on his presuppositional belief that they are real. You see, human flourishing, the cornerstone of Matt's ideology and that of secular humanism, is totally meaningless.
Not even meeting Matt where he is. Not even attempting to meet Matt where he is. Matt never argued there's no such thing as God. Matt never said any of the things that he's attacking right now. We all have to presuppose existence is real. It'd be psychotic not to. Big Papa Fascia does it every single time he wakes up. You know? You have to come to the conclusion that reality is real. Because to not do that is psychotic and will get you in a loony bin. If you actually don't believe any of this is real, then just go hog wild. If it's just a video game, why don't you play GTA in IRL? Just go hog wild. It's not real. You'll just spawn into another life afterwards, or wake up out of the Matrix. Who knows? Yeah, he did do this against Vosh. Yes, honestly, this wasn't Big Papa Fascist the last person Vosh debated. I'm pretty sure Andrew made Vosh retire from debate because he didn't see any use in doing it anymore, because the majority of people that have like a big voice on the Republican side are pretty close to Big Papa Fascists nowadays. They've really lost the sauce, so there's not really any point of debating them. Yeah. I can imagine, like, I guess kudos to him for like making Vosh retire. He got a desirable outcome, I guess. I don't know.
Flourishing by whose metric? From my perspective, for instance, attempting to lie to people who claim men can be women isn't human flourishing.
Completely going. It's funny because what Matt said, he's representing right now. Matt was like, it's all about human beings. being able to find happiness within life, human flourishing within life, and everyone is different. There's no do's or do nots. It's not a we're going to push you out of existence if you don't fit our criteria, right? Yes. No, this is just really, really sad, to be honest. I can't, like, he fell right into Matt's trap. And now we're going to go on a transphobic tirade instead of making a case. Notice he hasn't made a case for Christianity yet. He's only attacked Matt as a person and has gone on weird arguments about like how the debate is going to go. Completely off topic.
From Matt's perspective, it is. Why? Why should the collective of humanity lie and say men can get pregnant? Why should they say that men can have periods? Things which are categorically and obviously false. That preserving homosexuality in society is good for human flourishing, even though they are reproductive dead ends.
Wild. See, someone like, I'm gonna, like, obviously, I made my point with, like, the who's the good faith person, right? Now, remember what I said at the beginning of this? Modern day debate keeps him on because he's, like, the only thing keeping modern day debate live. His channel and his followers are, like, attached like a leech to modern day debate. He's constantly debating on here. He's getting, like, them decent views, but at the same time, the channel is getting less views than it's ever had in the past because of it. This is the reason why I'm not that big of a supporter of them. The owner of Modern Day Debate also has gone a lot more right-wing also too. And I think it's because of his interactions with people like Andrew, and obviously like him having those beliefs and allowing Andrew to be on the show like led him to either be further, or he already had them, or he started having them, and that's why he's allowed this to happen more. Like, this is like, if you are all about like good faith discussion, decent debate, you should not have someone on your channel like this. And it's more about blood sports, I guess. It's not even about like decent debate. And I hope we don't see blood sports in my debate later on, but it might happen. Who knows? We'll see where that goes. What do you guys see in the chat? Yeah, it's still a thing. I'm going to not be on a live stream of Modern Day Debate because I'm not big enough. This is my first stream. I'm not even known as a person yet. But I'm going to be on the Discord and doing a event debate there. So yeah, no. This person is toxic to any conversation. And anyone that says, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with them, I don't understand why. I'm not like self-harming in that way. I would never do it. I would never put myself in that position because, like, as you can see, before they even have a back to forth, it just all of the fallacious arguments you could possibly think of.
And that Western society and egalitarianism is superior to those evil theist society, even though the Western nations can't even reproduce their own populations, but instead have to replace their population with foreigners from those theist nations that can reproduce. Let's start with a basic societal question recently asked of the West, who has now embraced a scientific and non-theistic approach to governing. Super basic question every kindergartner knows. If you don't believe me, go watch Kindergarten Cop. The question posed to the Western nation is, can a man be a woman? Right? To the question of if a man can be a woman, they say the answer is yes. And the way we will decree they can be a woman is by simply saying that woman now means male. Problem solved. Thank you, secular humanists. Thank you so much. Nope, not kidding. Why, you ask, would people be this over-the-top stupid? Well, it's simple. The good is the good, man. We have to do what's good for human society and human flourishing. And if you don't call these deranged lunatics something they obviously aren't, they might self-terminate. So in order to avoid that, we need to make everybody on planet Earth lie to them.
So he's pretty much just like, there's ways to measure people's happiness and well-being. They're not always the most objective ways of doing it. They're not always like the most one-to-one, but there's ways of doing it. And what he's advocating for has been proven time and time again to make people's lives worse. Authoritarianism is not good. Not good. No bueno. It might be good for a few, especially those who drink the Kool-Aid, but not for most, right? We're getting close, so like I'm going to try to get through this as soon as possible because the debate is going to start soon.
This is human flourishing.
I'll be right back.
Just redefine shit, pretend it's true. How laughably absurd this worldview is. Matt will often say, I remain unconvinced. Well, Matt, I'm also going to use your standard. I need for you to 100% convince me beyond a shadow of a doubt that males can have babies. What's the answer going to be? No, Andrew, you big stupid. Males can't have babies. Men can have babies. Because we just defined man to include females, dummy. Well, Matt, I remain unconvinced. I'd like Matt to convince me that if you are a male and you are having sex with another male, which would not be allowed in my version of a secular humanist worldview, how is it that you're not just basically having sex with a guy with a wig on? I really want to know the answer to that question. Not just me, but all rational people who aren't lunatics also want to know why "it's ma'am" isn't a complete and total crock of garbage. Because I remain unconvinced that it isn't a total lie, and that these people don't just pervert the language to include their own perversions and then add human flourishing at the end. Matt has said he wouldn't make a law stopping 9-year-olds from having sex with each other. Not kidding. Now, I know this is going to sound a little bit totalitarian, but I would in fact create laws that made it a crime for a 9-year-old to have sex with their 9-year-old. I would hold the parents criminally liable for allowing this to happen in my evil authoritarian society, where I don't even let 9-year-olds have sex or the parents go straight to jail for negligence. Now, I think that's better for human flourishing. I think maybe parents would be far less likely to let their 9-year-olds do that if they went to jail. Stupid me. Next, I would in my authoritarian society decree that all simulated sex acts in public were criminal offenses and would make sure that all people went to prison for the crime of indecency, which doesn't assist with human flourishing, and I'd like to know why I'm wrong. Secular humanism can basically be whatever the hell you want it to be. It doesn't really need the principle of freedom or the starting axiom of freedom and peace in order to postulate whatever it wants. It's sloganeering. They're slogans. They don't mean anything. Okay? Why do 9-year-olds need to be able to have sex in order to advance humanity? Why do we need to lie about?
That's a boldface. That's sorry. I had to go to the restroom real quick, and I'm back. So what he's referencing is Matt Dillahunty was he debated this Muslim person, and whenever the guy wouldn't deny, when the guy didn't deny he wouldn't like be in a relationship with a minor, he instead turned it back onto Matt and asked if it would be okay if minors were together. And Matt's argument was it shouldn't be criminalized, but I don't support it. So once again, lying and poisoning a well.
A person's sex in order to advance humanity. Why are these things necessary for human flourishing? Why are decency laws bad? Why would Christian ethics stop flourishing when the theist mandate is to reproduce, and the secular mandate is let's just all have sex and have fun, bro? That sounds way worse for human flourishing. In fact, I would say not reproducing is the worst possible thing for human flourishing, because if there's no humans, how do you flourish? So I guess, in essence, step 1, I remain unconvinced. Step 2, I need to be convinced, so I'm no longer unconvinced. And step 3, but God not real dough doesn't matter here. I've already granted it to still demonstrate just how stupid this ideology actually is. With that, I'll yield my time, and I'm happy to get into it.
Hey, James, I just sent you a message.
All right. We are going to kick it into an open discussion, so 50 minutes, and let's kick it.
No, I don't think so. I'm not going to sit here and dignify the preparation that I went through and what people were here for.
You're so indignant.
Keep interrupting me.
I am.
Okay.
You're so indignant.
Would the moderator like to step in so that I can finish what I'm saying?
Please, Matt. Please. How dare someone have an opposing worldview?
I'm not.
So yeah, as you can see, yeah, it doesn't can't even let Matt like say what he wants to say real quick without immediately interrupting. Now that's an open floor, and he does this all the time. He interrupts like every single conversation and try to forces it and it's really sad because like people that follow someone like Big Papa Fascist, they see that as like strength and not what it really is, which is like disrespect or intellectual dishonesty or even like not being good faith to the discussion, right? So it gets really wild right here. We got 10 minutes before I have to jump on the stream. Let's see if we can finish it.
Going to sit here and dignify what was supposed to be a debate about Christianity versus secular humanism, which one's better for the world,
Yes.
with someone who clearly showed up with an agenda that has nothing to do with that.
I just like
Someone who refers to trans people as deranged lunatics who will self-terminate if you dare to question them.
How am I wrong, Matt?
Someone who misrepresents a quote from a debate where I said I wouldn't make a law about 9-year-olds having sex being legal with respect to the 9-year-olds, not that I was in any way in favor of it and that I was actually opposed to it, which I addressed during that debate. But moreover, this is not remotely an honest interaction on the front of whether or not secular humanism is valuable. Because this, when he presented his position here, has nothing to do with secular humanism.
Yep. It's never been anything about Christianity. He never made an argument for Christianity. He just said, oh, babies are not being born, and oh, the queers are queer and mentally ill and threatening to kill themselves unless you are nice to them. Brr, 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 brr. Yeah, he didn't even make an argument for Christianity. He just was throwing out a bunch of like culture war bigotry, you know?
From the get-go, it's all about me. Matt thinks, Matt thinks, Matt thinks. I'm giving what Matt thinks, what Matt thinks, what Matt
Matt's
thinks, what
position.
Matt
It's
thinks.
Matt's position.
I
It's Matt's
came in
position.
with the Secular Humanist Manifesto.
I'm also a secular humanist, and I agreed with everything that Matt Dillahunty said. If I had to make an argument for secular humanism, if I could, I would just repeat exactly what he said in this introduction if it was a debate against Christianity.
I came in with positions that aren't
your
just
positions.
that aren't merely my positions.
Oh, well, as long as multiple people hold the position, it
This
makes it
guy's not
valid.
serious, and I'm leaving. James, if you want a refund, you
Well,
let me know.
good day, sir. And I'll cover your refund, Mr.
Cool.
Matt.
He just said he'd cover my
I
refund.
would cover his refund.
No.
He's tried the host has tried so hard to keep Matt in, but it's like why? You can't have this be even ground. Like this is both sidesing of this. The fence sitting is like ridiculous in this situation. Like one side is obviously super bad faith. They also skipped because this is an edited video. They also skipped the fact that Big Papa Fascist, the first thing he did was plug his channel. The first things that came out of his mouth was plug his channel. Because this was like a big... He wasn't that well known at this point. He's a little bit more well known. Because of this, he's more well known because of modern day debate, you know? I don't criticize Matt for not wanting to be a part of this kind of debate. I don't criticize anyone for not wanting to deal with someone's super bad faith like this, but I will criticize the host and I will criticize the channel for allowing this to continue and allowing their entire audience die off and be replaced with this guy's audience and people that agree with him because of it, you know? It gets worse. It gets worse. We have a couple minutes, but it gets worse.
No, I'm not going to dignify a debate with someone who walked in to trash talk people.
Yep.
And be smug and all of the things that he's being right now. He's already said he will cover my expenses. You don't have anything to worry about. This debate is over. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jackass.
Did you call me a jackass, Matt? Well,
After all the rude things he said and he behaved, I think it's okay to say, like, this isn't just Matt starting the aggro-ness, right? But, like, his viewers, people that agree with him, is going to see this as, like, a, oh, he started it, so what he's about to say is absolutely justified, you know?
you and your husband have a good day, man. Have a wonderful day, Matt.
I'm getting a message.
Yeah. No, that was fine. I mean, if you're going to take a parting shot,
My opponent's going to be a minute or two late, so we're good.
I will too, Matt. Yeah.
The thing is, my parting shot's correct.
No, your parting shot's correct. Oh man, tough crowd. You and your husband have a good day, man.
The reason he says this, you and your husband have a good day, Matt, is because Matt is with a trans woman. Arden. I think Arden's a pretty decent person with a good head on her shoulders, and this is another pot shot to be transphobic. And that kind of gives you more of an understanding of why he went so thick on the transphobia in his introductions, you know, Andrew. Yeah, like, yeah, sorry, just saw that, but like, oh wait, me being an asshole this entire time led to you calling me an asshole? How dare you, sir? You know?
Have a wonderful day, Matt. Yeah. No, that was fine. I mean, if you're going to take a parting shot, I will too, Matt. Yeah.
I think it's my parting shot's correct.
No, your parting shot's correct. Oh man, tough crowd.
Tough crowd. You don't see this in you don't see this in the video, but if you watch the whole video, the entire audience is against him. Even people that were Christians were against him. It was crazy. Like everyone was just like completely and utterly against him. All right, let's get the Discord set up. We're gonna have to do that. Then we do this. Is everyone enjoying it? Am I doing good so far? This is my first time ever doing this, so I'm trying my best here. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little shaky. But we're getting through it. Let's split screen. Okay. Let's go to modern day debate. I want you on this side. And this one on this side. There we go. Where are the events? All right, we're in the thing. Let me fix the Discord. Today we will be debating if my opponent actually shows up. I'm not sure if they're still going to show up. Today we're debating if homosexuality is natural, normal, or a mental illness. All right, we're here and we are queer. Is my audio good so far? Can you hear me?
Can you hear the sounds that I'm making?
Sorry if I scared you or blew your ears out. Didn't mean to be that loud. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. We are going over here. My admin already got to see. My admin already got to see the sneak peek of what I'm about to say. Yeah. Spooked you, didn't I? Coolio. After this, we're gonna be talking about Uh, the debate is set for an hour. There's a 3-minute intro for each of us, and then it's gonna be back and forth. I hope it doesn't last an entire hour. I hope we can figure it out before then. You know, I don't want to be sitting here arguing for an entire hour on a topic if I don't have to. Um, that being said, if it does last that long, I hope you guys will bear it because this is gonna be from my last interaction with this person, it wasn't that fun. And then after this, me too. And then after this, we're gonna look at the girls fighting Elon Musk and Trump. We're gonna go through some tweets. You know, we gotta use that. We gotta use that Elon Musk website to go over this. We're gonna go. We're gonna go and start with like the memes about it, and then I honestly found an iceberg. It goes really deep, and someone admits to some crazy stuff because of the situation. Like, MAGA has really lost their mind. MAGA has like really lost it. Oh, you sent me a one on Insta, huh? Let me check that on my cellular device, my little cell phone. Doody doody. Honestly, I'm surprised that we have four viewers. Thank you for all coming out. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like for me, please, because then more randos might come in. I like honestly having 4 people on my first stream is pretty awesome. And thank you for keeping chat alive and interacting with me. I wouldn't know what to do if it was such dead air, you know, me just talking to myself. You're the real G's, that's for sure, the real G's. Sweet. Thank you. I just got some popcorn from a lovely lady. You might want to get some popcorn for this too, you know? Look at that. I tried to hurry up and make sure we got through that whole first segment on time. And we did it, but now we're sitting around. Yikes. I did my part. Uh, the people debating are not supposed to vote, but I'm going to send you a link to, if you're already in modern day debate, I can send you a link. Just trying to remember how to do this. Where are we at? I'm having a hard time finding this stage. I'm technologically a boomer too, so you have to bear with me. I'm surprised like it's gone this well. Oh, true. I definitely need like Subway Surfer and the cutting like Play-Doh with a 1,000-degree knife. I'm already joined. How do I share this? Will this do it? Hmm. We shall see. Da, 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 da. Comment. Whoop. Whoa, did not want that. We shall see. Da, 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 da. There we go. There's the link to the stage if you want to vote. We got the music playing. Do, 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 do. And here we are in the darkness, waiting. This is the person I'll be debating. Humma humma. Humma 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 humma. We're gonna turn that down a bit. Yeah, no, it's Yoshi, click on the link. I can't really let you join the server. I don't have any mods like that. It's just the Modern Day Debate Discord. Some groovin' vibes though. Eight minutes in. Honestly, this music is pretty accurate. This is pretty accurate to what I'm feeling right now. I feel like I'm on hold for a call. I just want to pay my phone bill, gosh darn it. I just need some customer service, please. Please. Heck yeah. I just took a sip, that's why I glitched out. Taking a little sip of agua. Yay caramba. I don't know. I don't even know what to talk about right now. Oh yeah, the LA riots, aka the LA protests. I would say if we can get to that later on, depending how fast I get through the girls fighting, I'll just like talk about it a little bit now. I was watching the live stream before I went on stream because it was like ongoing. I'm pretty sure it's ongoing right now. Even they seemed it was pretty crazy. ICE doesn't know what they're doing at all. They just held the line in the same place for like an hour, multiple hours. It was, and they used so many gas canisters on so few people. No logistics, no plan. Oh no. ICE is not trained for this kind of stuff. ICE is only trained to find someone, scoop them in a van, and send them to El Salvador. They're not trained to like deal with any other actual like anything else, you know? It'd be really funny if like no bot shows up. So we can't actually like do anything. IDK. Let's go. And I'm responding to this. Boop. There's some of the screen that you can't see. For your own safety and for mine. My goodness. No plans, no bitches. So true. No logistics. Woo woo. They had less logistics than Russia did invading Ukraine. They were just standing there shooting canisters off. I also saw right-wingers salivating at the fact that one of the ICE vehicles ran over a protester. Like actually just like ran them over. How do I go to challenge stage? I don't know how to do that. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Here we go. And it
I didn't
begins.
see where everyone was. Sorry.
And it begins.
What just happened? So, are we all going to the challenge stage, or
No.
are we staying here?
I don't know. Man, these people don't know what they're doing.
Okay, okay. Mole wants everyone to go to challenge stage. You can go. I'll go in challenge stage.
Where's challenge stage? Here we go. We're in challenge stage now. I don't know why they would have the link go to that stage if we're not going to stay in that stage, but okay. That's fine. Okie dokie. I can't wait to argue on behalf of the gays. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be legendary. Humana's ancestors will remember this day. We'll speak about it. I don't want to hype myself up too much because this might go horribly wrong on my end, or horribly wrong because of them. Who knows? You have to invite us, sir. Hey, if this is like the worst technical problems we have and it's not even my fault, that's a pretty good first stream, I think.
Okay, can you guys ask for the permission to come?
How do I ask?
Come here.
How do I ask? I don't know how to do that.
Request. Yeah.
Oh, put my hand up?
Are you from? Okay, Shaidomer. Are
Shalom,
you from?
everyone.
Hello. Okay, perfect.
Real quick, can you guys
Okay, perfect.
can everyone in the
is here.
chat hear
Yo.
them?
Alright.
Can you hear them?
Yeah. What is the discussion about? So I can start the stage.
Just
homosexuality. It's whether it's normal or not.
yeah.
So title could be "Is homosexuality normal?"
Normal or
Yeah, sure.
natural was the original.
Normal.
Yeah.
Normal was what we wanted though, so just put normal.
Oh, okay.
Okay, perfect.
I'm okay with either one.
Okay.
Okay,
Give me
cool.
a second.
So you
Give me a
know,
second.
I am live.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I'm recording as well, by the way. Is that fine? So,
Yeah, no, that's fine. If
okay.
why wouldn't you be able to if I am?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Also, we're still sticking with the 3-minute intro.
Whatever. You're supposed to talk first because you're the one arguing for why it is normal, and then I'll respond.
Okay, I can do that. Do we want to wait
Oh.
for like everyone to join because people are still joining?
Sure. Give me
Okay.
a second, by the way. I'll be back in a second. That actually works perfectly fine for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coolio. Hello, everyone. More waiting.
Okay, there are a lot of people. So
Yeah,
I
24
think
people.
that's everyone. Yep.
We are debating if homosexuality is normal. I am live
Alright, I'm
streaming,
back.
and they are recording, and I hope this is a good, fair fight. Clean. No low shots, okay?
Obviously, yeah, of course.
Okay. And you said you wanted me to start? You ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll start the timer.
Okay. Homosexuality is natural, normal, and not a mental disorder. In 1973, the American Psychiatric Association asked members of the APS convention to vote on whether they believed homosexuality to be a mental disorder. 5,854 psychiatrists voted to remove homosexuality from the DSM. 3,810 voted to retain it. It wasn't until 1987 homosexuality was completely removed from the DSM. Many people claim the change in how we understand homosexuality now is that of a conspiracy. The queer cabal scared organizations into adopting their agenda. Our current understanding is not that occurred from an opinion. It has not occurred from an opinion, but the lack of evidence in homosexuality being a mental disorder. We have almost a century's worth of data pointing to homosexuality being a natural and normal experience of not only human beings, but other species. Medical associations all around the world agree homosexuality is a normal counterpart to homosexuality. Studies have found no evidence that homosexuality itself causes negative psychological effects. Research suggests that sexual orientation is likely influenced by a combination of genetic, hormonal, and environmental factors. This is important to note that while homosexuality is not pathological, social stigma and prejudice against gay individuals can lead to mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and suicidality. While some individuals may experience distress related to their sexual orientation, this is a matter of individual experience, well-being is not well-being. It's not reflected by the orientation itself. Evolutionarily, homosexuality makes sense. As a social species, having relationships between males would encourage alliances and allow low-status males to reposition themselves in the group hierarchy increasing their reproductive success. From Mesopotamia till now, we find documented evidence that homosexuality has been a part of the human experience. In the 1950s to early 1970s, therapists offered conversion therapy in attempts to cure male homosexuality. This typically involved showing patients pictures of naked men, not women, naked men,
Shai,
while
the
giving
time is up.
them.
If
Okay.
If you
No,
would
I'm
not like
fine.
to
I'm
extend the
fine.
time,
I'm fine. I'm
okay,
fine.
perfect.
They can continue
Okay.
talking. No, it's all good.
In the 50s to early 70s, therapists offered conversion therapy in attempts to cure male homosexuality. This typically involved showing patients pictures of naked men while giving them electric shocks or drugs to make them vomit. Then, once they could no longer bear it, showing them pictures of naked women or sending them out on a mock date with a young nurse. In extreme cases, lobotomies and castrations were utilized. Needless to say, these cruel and deranged methods proved entirely ineffective. There is no scientific basis or clinical evidence to support the usage of psychological or surgical interventions to change someone's sexual orientation. In conclusion, people don't choose who they are attracted to, and even with a social stigma pushing against them, there are still people who are attracted to the same gender. I yield my time.
All right. So number one, the big takeaway, there was a misinformation, and I know it might not have been intentional, but number one, the vote system that you were talking about. So this is my statement. I'm criticizing what you said, and I'm also going to make a position for myself. So this debate hasn't started dialogue yet. The Board of Trustees in 1973, I believe, there was a vote, and it was taken. It was a vote to give the Board of Trustees the final say. Actually, homosexuality didn't drop out of the DSM because there wasn't a fifth edition back then. So the DSM 1, 2, 3, whatever. It didn't drop out because of science. It didn't drop off because of psychiatry. It dropped off because of gay activists. And I do have a source for that, and it's all there. So this is not even for disputation. And it's a pro or neutral source for homosexuality. And it actually, in fact, probably considers homosexuality to not be a disorder, because clearly that's what people think is the consensus nowadays, but it's actually not true. And on top of that, it was 58% of psychiatrists in 1973 who voted for the Board of Trustees to have the final say. So an additional 42% didn't actually want the Board of Trustees to have the say. So that would have been so I would assume that homosexuality would still remain within the DSM, or the psychiatrists themselves are the ones who get to make the decision. But it was, homosexuality was dropped because of gay activists. Okay, now I'm going to make my case for why homosexuality is a disorder. Homosexuality is inherently dysfunctional. You cannot have a child in regular means. The unconscious experience of being attracted to a man, especially when it dwells in your mind, and that's what you're attracted to, and that's what you're only attracted to, you're not going to have sex with a woman, and having sex with a woman is essential in order to reproduce. Now, you're going to say, well, what about sperm banks? I could just, put my sperm in a cup and then give it to a woman, and now she's pregnant. Sure, you can, but that doesn't change what the innate, inherent dysfunctionality of homosexuality is. It doesn't change that. If I have poor vision and I wear glasses, that doesn't change the fact that I still have poor vision. If I have issue being able to sense myself getting too full, the stretches in my stomach, right? But I have a machine that tells me because of AI that I'm eating too much. That doesn't change the fact that my stomach still has an issue. The same way how it doesn't change the fact that homosexuality is still inherently dysfunctional. On top of that, homosexuality is strongly correlated with pedophilia. And no, I am not exaggerating. There is a strong correlation with homosexuality and pedophilia, and I do have the sources, and I also have graphs which are made by a professional psychiatrist in the 21st century. So this is not old stuff. It's also associated with fetishistic disorder, which is a recognized paraphilia. Pedophilia is a recognized paraphilia. All of these things are strongly correlated with homosexuality. On top of that, homosexuals experience depression and trauma and sexual abuse growing up, and that has a correlation with being a homosexual. In fact, there was tests where the variable of social stigma was taken out to the best of abilities. It's very hard to do that, I'll be fair, but there was still evidence to suggest that homosexuals inherently have distress and issues in their day-to-day life. It's just a fact, okay? And I think that should be enough for now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that was a lot. I also gave you a lot. Your first point, what I was my source on most of these things. I gave my source to Rhino like you asked me to, and my source on most of these and what I like pretty much repeated from verbatim was of the what are they called, the PMC?
You know the PUB you mean, right?
Nope, the PMC.
PMC.
Yep.
Yeah, PMC. Sorry, I'm actually dumb. Yeah,
Yes.
the PMC. I always thought, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I have the same sources.
So
I have the PMC sources as well.
I wanted to ask you what makes what makes something a mental illness or like
when it's dysfunctional.
Yeah. Okay. So
homosexuality is inherently dysfunctional.
Inherently dysfunctional. In what
100%.
way?
Because it leads you to not be able to reproduce, or it makes it harder.
Okay. Do you think reproduction is the only thing that matters when it comes to human life?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Now we can hear you.
Okay,
yes.
now we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My bad. I'm asking if reproduction is the only thing that matters when it comes to human life and flourishing.
Well, doesn't that kind of answer itself?
No, I need you to answer for me.
If humans don't reproduce, how do we flourish?
There's plenty of people that live lives where they have not reproduced and they still flourish.
Yeah, but if humanity as a whole did not reproduce, how would we flourish?
We're not talking about humanity as a whole. We're talking about individuals that have same-sex or gender relations, which isn't a huge amount.
We have to say same-sex, not gender.
Okay, same-sex.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't change the fact that it's still on an individual level has limiting effects on that person.
Just because you can't reproduce doesn't mean you're not having a flourishing life. Just because you aren't reproducing doesn't mean you can't provide for society or help those who are reproducing. Remember the saying, it takes a village to raise a child?
Okay.
Right?
All right. So if I have bad eyesight, which I thankfully don't, and I needed to wear glasses, does that not change the fact that I still have bad eyesight?
No, that does not mean you have good eyesight because no.
Yeah, so inherently and intrinsically, whatever big word you want to use, I don't have good eyesight and it's limiting me. But thanks to human intellect, which we use our conscious with, we can figure something out through it. We can compensate. Same way how homosexuals can compensate. Homosexuals, we're talking about the attraction here, right?
Okay.
Straight men could theoretically have homosexual sex. We're talking from a mental perspective, being attracted to men. Inherently, it limits you. It makes reproduction harder. That's a dysfunction.
Do you think homosexual men can't have sex with women?
No, they can, but that's a choice because they thought, using human intellect here, this is my whole point, hey, you know what? I can't have kids because I can't have sex with a woman because I'm a homosexual. And if I'm a homosexual, then the only way I could get kids is impregnate a woman. How am I going to impregnate a woman? I might choose to actually go sleep with a woman, or I might choose to give her some of my sperm.
Well, you already said that there's other ways science has allowed them to reproduce, right?
We're not going to get into that. We're not going to talk about.
Is it because like it goes against what you're saying that they can't reproduce? Like
no,
we have our current state of affairs. They can reproduce.
What are you talking about?
give a
Yeah, because of
donation.
science.
Yeah, they
Because
can
of
get
science.
without having to
Because
have
of
sex.
science.
Without having to have sex.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant
Yep.
by giving sperm.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that doesn't change the
So
actual unconscious. That doesn't change the attraction.
that doesn't. So your argument is like it's bad and wrong because they can't
No,
reproduce, right?
whoa. Slow down.
Right. Okay.
The title of the debate is homosexuality normal? We're talking from a medical point of view. This is not a moral conversation.
Okay.
We're not saying wrong or right or anything in between. We're talking about
Normal.
biology.
Okay.
So let's stick to that. Yeah. We're
Well,
not talking about right or
your
wrong here.
arguments up until now were like about how homosexuality is wrong and bad.
No, it wasn't. No, I did. I never even used those
Do you-
words a single time.
Don't you think like saying because it's their reproductive dead ends, that's why like it's a mental illness? Don't you think that's like
Yes.
like you're showing harm right there, saying it's bad, right? If the whole conversation
What?
is just
Okay.
wait, just give me a second. If the whole conversation is if it's normal, well, look around you. If it's naturally occurring right now, I would say it's pretty normal.
You know, pedophiles are pretty around as well.
Yeah,
They
but
just
we're
don't
not talking
talk
about
it.
bad or good, right? We're just talking about if
We're
it's
not.
normal or if it's around.
Being a pedophile is definitely not normal, and that's by
It's not
scientific
typical and it's not
It's
good, but
absolutely
it's
no.
a
You want to use PMC? Every single medical source you will find, 100 years now, 100 years back, and now. By the way, let me get the definition of pedophile straight. I'm not talking about being attracted to minors that are like 14, 15. That's not the medical definition of pedophile. The medical definition of pedophilia is being attracted to a prepubescent child. If you're attracted and you prefer prepubescent children, you definitely have something wrong going on in your head.
why are we talking about pedophilia?
Because I'm trying to explain to you
I know what
why not being
pedophilia
able to
is.
why not being able to reproduce is dysfunctional. The same way how
But they
basically
can
any other
reproduce.
paraphilia is Yeah, pedophiles can reproduce, but we're
No,
talking
gay
about the
people
inherent.
can gay men
we're
can
ta- we're-
reproduce.
We're talking about the inherent attraction and what it symbolizes.
No, we're talking
Inherent
about
homosexual and attraction
Okay,
does not
okay.
signify reproduction at all.
we're talking
Guys,
about if
just a
homosexuality
second.
is normal.
Yeah, just a second. We are talking about normal. Can we please get a definition of normal before anything else?
Okay.
Normal means having a sexual attraction that is not dysfunctional.
No,
The
a
opposite of
definition of normal, not of normal
Bro,
sexual
what,
attraction,
what,
of
what type
normal.
of what type of question? That's a Jordan Peterson type of question. What is normal? Everybody knows what normal means. I'm not gonna answer these type of
No,
questions.
I mean we are in a debate, and that's the whole part of the debate, whether it's normal or not.
Listen. Let me tell you something. Are you debating me or am I debating? Am I
I mean,
debating Shy
I
Doomer?
am
Am I
the
debating you or am I
moderator
debating?
of your debate, and your debate is on normality. We should at least define what the term you're
Okay,
using.
being normal in this context, in general, if you want just the raw definition of normal, being normal is something that is typical. What else? How else am I supposed to define it? It's something that doesn't have any negative consequence on your life. It's typical. It's healthy. It's beneficial. That's normal.
Cancer is normal. That does it's
Cancer is not normal. Cancer occurs, but that doesn't make it normal. The issue here is you could say cancer can naturally occur, but that doesn't make cancer normal. Let me get a definition here. Wait, you asked for a question. Let me give you a definition. Let me give you so you can
I would
completely
say
understand.
confirming
So you can completely understand. Wait. I'll give you as long as you like. I'll let you talk in the start as much as you like. Let me tell you something. There's a difference between average and normal and things that occur and things that are intrinsically normal. For example, if you go to America and there's a bunch of people who are fat, that doesn't make being fat normal. It makes it an average. There's a difference between normal and average. Is being that fat typical? Of course it's not. Is it an average in America? Yeah, but it's not normal. Normal has to be within the lines of being healthy and being what a human is supposed to be. That's what normal means.
I think I don't agree with that definition. You're shoehorning a bunch of things in it to justify your position more. I would have agreed with like conforming to a standard using typical or expected, right? Usually typical or expected, you know? I'd agree to that kind of definition, but like you're shoehorning a bunch of you're shoehorning a bunch of things in there that
what's the percentage
means
of
good.
homosexuality? What's the percentage of homosexuality among the population, Western population? What's the percentage?
I would say the second half of the definition, under the second half, like it's still normal, like usual, typical, or expected, right?
That's not medical. That's
I
what
would
you
say
think.
human beings at this point, we can just expect that they're to be gay people because we can see them since Mesopotamia.
You're not.
You know,
Just because Mesopotamians had sex with each other doesn't mean that being homosexual is
well, not only Mesopotamians, but
there's people, bro, there's people who killed and massacred babies and cut their heads off and boiled their blood and
yeah,
drank
but we're
it.
not talking about good or bad. We're just talking about if something exists.
Yeah, we're
right?
not talking about good or bad, but that's clearly mentally ill.
We're talking about something exists. I think it's a
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
normal
yeah,
experience. It's just another.
okay,
It's a pretty normal. Wait. It's just a pretty normal. Like being gay is a normal experience for some human beings, right? Like some people just are gay. You know, that just happens sometimes.
Yeah, and some people are just pedophiles.
But we're not talking about if it's a good or a bad thing necessarily. We're just talking about if it exists, right?
I never said being a pedophile is good or bad.
Yeah, that's the point. You're not even
I said
listening
it's
to what I'm
mentally
saying. You're not even hearing what I'm saying. Your part of your argument is trying to shoehorn like ethics into if it exists or not. But if it just
I never mentioned any. Can you tell me one time I mentioned anything about ethics just once?
Are you not making ethical arguments by saying like the
When did
fact
I
that they
ever
are
make ethical
reproductive
arguments?
by saying that
when did I-
they're reproductive dead ends, by saying that like they're mentally ill,
How's that
they're
ethical?
like
How is that ethical?
because
How's
it's
that ethical?
ethically good to continue the bloodline of humanity so we
No,
don't die
no,
off as a
I
species,
never,
right?
I never mentioned anything.
Are you
about
serious right
ethical
now?
good or-
You're trying to
very
like
serious.
allude to like pedophilia every single time I bring up. You're saying pedophilia
Yeah,
bad right
because-
now, and then you also said like homosexuals and pedophiles
I
are like.
never, ever said pedophilia was good or bad. Not once.
Is
Can we
pedophilia
just
bad?
get that clear? I'm not gonna answer.
Is it
It's
bad?
irrelevant.
Is it
It's
bad?
irrelevant to the conversation. Irrelevant to the
Well,
conversation.
true. Then why do you keep on bringing up pedophilia, bro?
Because it's a mental illness and it's strongly correlated with homosexuals?
It's not actually strongly correlated with homosexuals.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
The
Yes, it is.
homosexuality is
percentage-
the attraction
Okay,
of the
can I actually?
same
You've
sex.
just been talking the whole time. Can I respond?
You said so much, but okay.
Yeah, you ask me questions, I respond. You say I'm making an ethical argument, I tell you I'm not, and then you keep on pushing it. Number one, I've never mentioned anything about good or bad a single time. There was no ethical arguments whatsoever. Okay?
Okay.
I am trying to make a correlation between pedophilia and homosexuality because it exists. Pedophiles are twice as likely to be, well, I don't know how to phrase this without sounding misleading, but say the regular homosexual, according to the study, 1 in 20 men are homosexual. In pedophiles, 1 in 11 men are homosexual. And in fact, when you look at graphs of pedophilic attraction between heterosexual pedophiles and homosexual pedophiles, you'll actually come to realize that homosexual pedophiles are usually more of an exclusive variant of heterosexual pedophiles. They prefer children a lot more than they prefer either pubescents or adults, a lot more exclusively than heterosexual pedophiles do. Clearly, also there's other lists of neurological issues, which is a very common way, is by measuring left-handedness. Strongly correlated with neurodevelopment issues when you're growing up. Guess what? Homosexuals have higher left-handed rates, especially in women, than
What are we even
heterosexuals.
talking about?
We're talking about mental illness.
You're saying left-handed people are not mentally ill? What are we talking about?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I
so
said
like the whole concept. Okay,
You
so
just
a
straw
lot of-
manned everything I just said. I
No,
told
no.
you it's
The
correlated.
problem here is that you're arguing, you're like trying to make a point about them being mentally ill.
Mhm.
But what would them being mentally ill even do to your argument?
Yeah, mental illness is normal.
What?
Yep. It's a common thing. Like a lot of people are mentally ill. It's just a normal thing that happens sometimes.
Are you even like?
It's natural. That's for sure.
That's you're losing it, man.
Yeah, I'm losing it for sure. So I just would like to push back on the misinfo that you just pushed out. A lot of the
didn't push out
studies,
any
a lot of
misinfo.
the studies that people like you want to wait. I let you talk. A lot of the studies that people want to point out when it comes to homosexuality, being like the majority of homosexuals being pedophiles and whatnot. A lot of that is misinfo, because not necessarily the case. When the attraction to children is more of a dominating thing, is more of a controlling aspect than being attracted to the same sex. Like,
Says who? That's not true, actually. You want to know why?
it says
If we
National
talk about
Institutions of Health.
okay, if we talk about subjects like this, would you both mind giving the sources in the chat?
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem, man.
Yeah.
What do you want? What source do you want? You want the graphs and stuff?
Are
Sure,
like
I'll
all
send that
the
to
wait, are all the priests that like diddle little boys, are they all gay?
you. They probably are, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
What's that question have to do anything with the conversation? Yo, silent. This guy's silent in the chat, bro. Keep your mouth shut. This conversation's not for you. You've had this planned a week ahead. You're not him, bro.
Oh my goodness. If you'd like to post things in the side, go for it. I ain't gonna police anyone's language.
I don't know how to pin it though, so these guys are just gonna raid. Yo, moderator, can you shut the chat off? Can we have the chat towards the end and then we can answer people?
I'm okay with chat.
Wait, why
just
is
annoying.
what's the problem with chat? That they're
Why are
Because
you
when I
pinging you?
upset about
What?
chat?
because when I link something, people are just talking, so it's great to have my information just there. Or it's just an ability to pin it or something.
I mean, I'll just ping it for Shy Doomer. It's not really.
I was the one who sent it, so can you pin it for me as well?
I mean, it is only
yeah.
useful for Shy Doomer and
I'm
you're
not
debating
like
Shy
I don't
Doomer,
want to do that.
not
Like I don't
really-
really. I'm not gonna. I'd rather like attack arguments instead of like attack sources. Like I really don't care if like what he says
Glad-
is true or false.
I'm glad you don't. I'm glad you don't. Thank
Like
you.
I don't
hate when people do
care. No, I do care what if you say is true or false. I don't care about like your sources or anything like that necessarily, right?
Trust
so like
me, you can take my word.
we're
You can
talking.
take my word.
We're specifically like we're in the weeds right now. The discussion is homosexuality
Can I respond?
normal, right? Let's try to stay on that.
Yeah.
You've been going all over the place about like dead ends of birth and all these other things, right? But we're
You
just
asked me
let's
why I
just
think it's
try to-
dysfunctional, and I explained to you why
that's
it is.
not that's not a definition of normal that is anywhere in like that I can find. Dysfunctionality doesn't partake within normality or even natural occurring things, right?
Okay,
So
do you want to listen? Can I talk? You kind of filibuster a bit. I'm not trying to be rude. I know you don't mean it, but I just want to talk.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I explained to you why I believe it's dysfunctional, and it's because homosexuals can't reproduce. Okay, that's my reason why it's dysfunctional, and that's my reason why it's abnormal. Cool.
Yeah, but that's not just because something is dysfunctional doesn't mean it's like not a normal occurring thing.
You do real normal, bro. Anything can be normally occurring with
Yeah.
that definition.
Yeah.
That doesn't. That's not what I'm arguing.
Well, then you should have like made the discussion about like is it pathological or is it
Yes, that
bad?
was the whole point by normal.
No,
Yeah, no, it's not
okay,
about
if
that.
you wanna
It's
talk
mental.
about
I
that-
told you it's a mental illness because it's dysfunctional. That's the point. I've said that a million times.
Well, you said the debate discussion is if it's normal or natural. Like if you look at the
No, I literally made a distinction between natural and normal for this exact reason.
well, it should have been is homosexuality
Can you just
pathological?
wait? Can we just debate honestly and actually
I'm trying
attack
to.
what I'm presenting?
Okay.
You know what I'm presenting now.
Doomer,
If you
what
agree
we-
with me,
what
wait,
we would not
moderator,
agree
bro,
on
please,
the wording for the debating.
please, wait, respectfully, I'm talking. Respectfully, you've just been attacking me. I have just as much. I know you favor her argument, but can you be quiet for a second? All right? Number one, I've already explained to you these ideas. If you agree it's dysfunctional, we can end the debate here. We'll just end the debate. You agree with me?
No, I don't think it's
If you
dysfunctional.
don't, okay, then let's argue about it being dysfunctional then.
Okay, so
Thank you.
we're gonna argue if it's like pathological or dysfunctional.
Yes, sure.
What is okay? I think that should have been the discussion the whole time, but yeah.
That's what I identified way before, but you want to play play it out like this because you're kind of being dishonest. But hey, you know what? There's nothing I can do about that.
You were literally the one that got to word the debate. So I'm sorry that like
We had a conversation. We had a conversation before this debate on another call last week, and I literally said this.
And I let you decide the title of the debate, and I made
a differentiation, and I
made
made distinctive what I meant by normal, and that's why I differentiated from natural. Can we continue? I don't want to do this.
Okay. Well, I would just have to repeat what I said already. In my intro is that homosexuality in itself is not pathological. There are outside factors that lead to people having mental disorders like anxiety, depression, and suicidality. But once those things are alleviated, the depression rates and suicide rates lower. We also see this in other groups of people that are part of the LGBTQ.
Yeah. Can you tell me why they still innately have higher depression than the rest of the
Because
world?
we live in a society that's like really shitty to them still.
There's been a study where that variable was taken out of place, and they still had higher rates of sexual abuse and depression.
How do you take that like you're asking people how they feel in a society, in a world that demonizes them? How do you remove that variable?
All right, argue with the study. Don't argue with me. I can send you the study.
No, I'm just asking you, how can you possibly remove that variable, right?
They're a lot smarter than I am. I'm not a psychiatrist.
Did we just like find some queers in the nether sphere and they actually like have a decent life, and we asked them?
So many mental disorders are stigmatized, yet they still figured out whether they actually have problems in their emotions and their day-to-day life and mental health, or whether it was from social stigma, right? If they could do that with any other disorder, I'm sure they could do that quite fine with homosexuality.
Yeah, I think living in a country or in a world that majority says you're not, people like you saying that you're not normal, you're not natural, you're mentally unwell, and it like claiming like it's a negative thing that you exist the way that you exist is going to lead to some negative outcomes for that person's mental health. It's pretty simple, 1-to-1. The through line is clear as day.
Okay. I'm gonna have to bring this example up. I won't even use pedophile this time. If I went to a paraphilic, okay, any paraphilic who enjoys spying on people, forgot the name of that one. The one who likes showing his private parts in front of people, that's another paraphilia. Someone who's attracted to dogs and cats, zoophilia. Somebody who has fetishistic disorder, he's attracted to objects. All these are mental disorders. They're recognized as mental disorders. None of them, either they can't reproduce, or they have some sort of sadistic, disgusting, sort of they just have a negative outview. They're out there to harm. That's what it is. If you're sadistic, that literally means you're out there to harm people, bro. So these are what paraphilias are. You either can't reproduce, or you're either in that realm. It's an unnatural. It's not a normal. It's atypical. That's what a paraphilia is. Okay. So if I went to a pedophile and I said, not to a specific pedophile, but if I said generally that pedophiles are not normal, they have a mental illness, I'm going to be upsetting some pedophiles, even the ones who haven't hurt any children. That doesn't make my statement untrue.
Do you think there might be a little bit of, like, I thought you said you weren't going to pedophilia, but then, okay. Do you think
it's paraphilias as a whole? Pedophilia is just the most commonly known one.
Do you think there might be a little bit of a difference between two consenting adults of the same sex and fucking children, or having sex with animals?
That's a moral discussion. We're not
No. It's not a moral discussion. Like, what's the difference between those things? Can you tell me the difference between those things? I can.
That's a moral question.
The answer is consent, right?
Yeah.
Because
Because is the age of consent. Wait, is the age of consent a social construct? Why is it 18? Who got to rule that? Because your consent argument's garbage. We can get into this moral argument all that we because they can't consent. That's not a biological argument. That's a moral argument. Stop bringing morals into this.
Well, stop making comparisons to adults that are consenting to have sex with each other to fucking animals and children, you weirdo. Like,
how am I a weirdo?
Because you keep on wanting to talk about diddling kids, and what is that like
Well,
whole
okay.
age of
Why is it?
consent
Why
is
it?
like what do you
Okay.
think the age of consent
Is
should be?
morality
What do you think the
subjective?
age of consent should be? If you disagree with like the
Irrelevant.
standard
That's
of
a
the
moral
argument,
question. That's a moral question. What I think about the age of
yeah,
consent.
because
It's
we're
a
now
moral
talking
question.
about pathological or morality. We're not talking about
We're
like
not.
emotion,
We're talking
like
about mental
a
illness.
mental.
Can we stay
Yeah.
on topic?
Well, you're the one talking about morally bad things, but then when I point out
That's
that
your
you freak
opinion.
out.
It's your opinion that pedophilia is
It's
morally
not.
bad.
Is that not your opinion? Do you not agree?
Is morality subjective?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you have no reason to think. You have no reason to be upset if I
No,
say
because there's
that.
harm. We can look at these
But
situations and
that's
understand
subjective.
harm.
But that's
Individual
subjective to you. You
harm.
said morality. You said
No.
morality is subjective. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
my
hey. Let me ask you
subjective
something.
standard.
What's your favorite color?
Wait. You're
What's your
crashing
favorite
out.
color?
You're chill. My subjective standard is harm, and like I want to reduce as much harm as possible. So like you saying all these are bad, spooky things. That are harmful. I'm like, yeah, those things are harmful because there's lack of consent. There's like disease involved with fucking animals. Fucking children is harmful and bad and disgusting. But like when we're looking at same-sex consenting adults, the harm in comparison is not there, and that's why I keep on saying, why are you bringing this up?
Yeah, because pedophiles happen to be correlated with homosexuals. So
You were making that
By the way,
correlation.
the study. No, please. The study you linked doesn't prove anything
yes,
of
it
what you
does. Yes, it does.
I
Because they
appreciate
took a
that.
test. They had
I've
two.
linked, I
No,
have
no.
read the whole study in between. It doesn't.
No, you didn't read the whole study because it's pretty hard to read that whole thing. Because you're misinterpreting it. You're the moderator, so can you be quiet? Why are you
No.
arguing for her? Be quiet.
The problem is
For the love of God, can
the
you keep your
problem
mouth
is
shut?
that you made
Please,
a claim
can you
and
keep
you
your...
gave a source,
No,
and it is
because
my
I'll
job
explain.
as a
All right,
moderator to read the
You
source.
got me to do it. You got me to do it. I'm opening my screen. I'm screen sharing. I have everything from the source. It's all documented right in front of me. You thought I wasn't ready for this? Guess what, boy? I am. So let's open up my screen right now. All right. Let's open up my screen. Let's have some good fun.
Okay, cool.
Let's have some good fun. Let's have
Cool.
some good fun.
Let's do that,
Alright.
I guess.
All right. This is his study right here. This is an
Yeah.
image from his study. This is the graphs. All
Okay.
right. This is basically saying the same thing as this. This left, so they had originally about 3,000 people taking the study. They omitted a certain amount of people because the charts were trying to figure out homosexuality and heterosexuality. So anybody who happened to be bisexual wasn't part of this. Anybody who happened to say that these graphs don't correlate his or her personal interest weren't there. I mean, his personal interest. This was only men. Didn't correlate. Okay. So they didn't add those. As long as the person's history is clean. If he said I don't like men or I don't like kids, wasn't added. Okay. Now it says here, this left 2,278 subjects used in the study. 1,000 heterosexual. This means to be attracted to adults. 761 heterosexual Hep B files, which means you're attracted or you prefer early pubescent children. So it's the step before pedophilia. And then 159 heterosexual pedophiles. You know what's so funny is that there was more heterosexual pedophiles than there was homosexual adult lovers. Because you guys probably don't know what this word means, and I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, so
Why?
when we look at the graphs now,
Why?
What do you mean why? They took a group of people who committed crimes, and homosexuals happened to be pedophilic more often than heterosexuals were. Can you not see the numbers?
Yes, definitely no. You need to go to see that. You need to go in the methodology and look at how they selected.
Listen. You're not a moderator if you're arguing for her. Can you be quiet?
I am not arguing for no one. I am
You
looking
are. You're
if
the
your
worst
source is
moderator
correct.
ever. Moderators don't make arguments for the other person. Can you please be quiet?
If I said,
I am not.
wait. If
you
I
made
gave,
an argument
can you be quiet?
based on a source.
Can you just Can you keep your mouth
If I
shut?
gave a
or I'm
bad
just, or I'm not
study-
going to continue this debate because it's being unfair. Be quiet for the love of
if
God.
I
Keep
gave
your mouth shut.
if I gave a bad study and the moderator went through it and said this doesn't argue,
This is not a bad study. It's right here.
I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm just saying.
Wait. Be quiet. 2,278 subjects used in the study. 1,000 of them happened to be heterosexual adult lovers. 761 happened to be heterosexual early puberty.
Oh no.
More ratio of the homosexuals. So look, we have 96. There was
Perfect.
more.
So,
Shut
okay,
up!
perfect.
There was more pedophilic. There was more.
Okay, you cannot actually like scream at a moderator to shut up. That's not how debate works. That's what happened when in a debate. So the problem here is that you are presupposing that the way they've looked to find heterosexual is exactly the same as the way they try to find homosexuals. We should look at the methodology to confirm if it's correct or not.
Yo, that was not cool. You're constantly interrupting me, and you're arguing for her case. Can you be quiet? Can you let me talk? People in the you know what the thing that pisses me off the most is everybody since the start in the chat has been against me because I've been constantly getting interrupted by a moderator who's supposed to be neutral, and he just keeps.
No, moderators aren't supposed to be neutral, are supposed to see if people are doing something wrong and address that. If a person is doing something wrong much more than the other, automatically they're gonna take
Yeah, I
on
definitely
a side in particular.
I definitely
And the
should.
problem with this is you are making claim based on a study, and we are going through the study, and I have said nothing that making a moral claim or helping like no one. I'm just saying, okay, let's see if your arguments are valid. Let's go through the methodology because that is what you're asking right now. That's your claim.
That's what I was gonna ask. Can we look at the link that you have right there, and can we look at the
Okay.
the conclusion?
Can I finally explain the study for one last time? There was 3,000 men originally. Ones got opted when they said that their attraction. Can you be quiet? I'm explaining.
You're explaining your take from it, but I would like to see the
And I'll send
methodology
a link after.
and
Yes,
like
I'll send
the.
the link. I'll
Just
send the
send it in
link
the
after
chat
I
right now.
explain.
Just send it right now,
All right,
and then you can yap.
I will send it. I'm gonna explain it, and then you can read it. Can you just
Okay.
give me a second? You're not giving me a moment to talk. There was originally 3,000 subjects, roughly 800, because you could see the number here, got omitted because they either said that this does not correlate with me, they were either bisexuals, and the ones who said that it did not correlate with them, they were omitted if their history doesn't show. For example, if they said they're not homosexuals and they have no interaction with boys or men, then they would have been omitted. Cool. Okay, so out of these subjects, they were randomly selected. They were all men, and they were taken from people with criminal records, people from psychiatric homes, people with doubts about their sexuality, etc. When we notice here the ratio, it's extremely overwhelming the amount of pedophiles are in the homosexual group. In fact, there was more pedophiles than adult lovers. Okay? You can now, I'll send the link. It's all
Okay.
there. Why would I lie about this?
I don't think you're lying, but I would like to point out what you just said. They are specifically you looking at people that have been convicted of crimes or put into mental hospitals, right? I don't think that's a good pool to prove like the majority of a population is a thing, because you're literally choosing criminals, like you're choosing like a portion of a portion of a portion at this point, right? I don't think that proves what you think it does.
You know what's so funny?
If they just did a
what's
poll,
so funny is
go
that
ahead.
the people. You know what's so funny is that people that are on your side, their way of arguing, and the people in the comments are by calling me a child toucher and calling me crazy because I disagree with everything that everybody thinks is normal, and I'm here to challenge that narrative, and I'm getting called crazy and getting called this and that for it. And when I have a temper, I'm talking to them mostly, not you.
Okay.
When I have a temper, it's because this moderator is being extremely unbiased, and I just expose them after I explain this whole thing. And on top of that, there's another. Stop talking. And then on top of that, there's another thing where if you want another source, I can show it right now, which clearly, directly talks about the ratios of homosexual pedophiles versus homosexuals in general population. I can get that up too. This is my introspection of this, and now you will get something that's directly written too. And I've showed you the graphs, which we can get more into detail about the strong homosexual and pedophilic correlation. Now, when you make the argument that, well, this is from people who are criminals, yeah, so are the heterosexuals criminals. So can you tell me why the same ratio is not found in heterosexuals?
Because they literally pulled, in this study, they literally pulled people that were questioning their sexuality that were criminals.
Yeah, so were the heterosexuals. They were criminals too.
They didn't you say that they pulled majority of them only were? Didn't you say
No,
like
it
they
was a
only
rep.
pulled people that like were questioning their sexuality?
That was a sum, and the other sum was people who were sent because they have crimes and they were taken out as a test. There's people, most of them happened to commit crimes against men, crimes against boys, crimes against girls, crimes against older.
Mm-hmm.
It was taken on all variables. There was no specific selection whatsoever, and it's all there, and it's there for you to read it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
I
go
have
ahead.
read the methodology, and in the methodology, it says that majority of the people that were incriminated had like actual sexual crimes, but also in the people that were asked to come that didn't commit any crime, there were people that were like seeking if they had a problem with that. So completely people that were not in any sort of criminal arrangement.
Okay.
The problem is, why would you think that? What is the reason why a lot more straight people decided to come forward to the fact that they are straight, and a lot less gay people decided to come forward to say that they are gay?
This makes absolutely no sense at all.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Because
does, because in
I-
you're
society,
acting, no, because
I-
you're acting like the only variable. Can you let her argue? I mean, whatever they are, like, I'm not trying to be rude. Can you let them argue for a second? Like, just can you just let them argue for their own case?
Yeah,
Can you
it's
stop for a second? I've
I
explained 100 times that the people who came forward volunteered, and those people could have been anything. They could have also been heterosexual pedophiles or heterosexual hebephiles as well, but they didn't. Right? At least not the same amount of ratio. And most people would not admit to pedophilia. Why would you admit to pedophilia? You would come out and you have more reason to not and be like, huh, you know what, guys? I'm a homosexual pedophile. These ain't my words. Don't clip me. I'm giving an example. This, if this is the case, right? Your argument falls flat right below the ground, bro. So can you just stop for a second and let them argue? I don't want to hear your voice another time, please.
well there
I just take facts. I didn't want to argue, so perfect.
yeah, I appreciate you pointing these things out and trying to make sure like the audience knows at least, because I'm not putting the work into. I honestly can't with my setup right now look at the links. I so I appreciate what you're doing, but like also we said it was gonna be an hour and it's already been an hour. I'm okay with going for like another 15-20 minutes, but then I have to go because I have other things I have to do on my stream. Okay.
Right, that's
Okay.
fine.
So my whole thing
Yeah.
is, once again, what does this have to do with if it's mental illness or not?
Do you want sources about their depression as well?
Yeah,
you want
that's
sources for
yeah. The American Health Association, the World Health Association, has done multiple studies on this, and it seems more like the outcome of mental health and like the lack of mental health in these communities is because of outside forces, not because of their sexuality itself. They're being treated like shit. They're being labeled pedophiles and groomers, like how you're doing in this conversation. And that leads to, like, if society deems like you're gross and you're unwanted, of course you're gonna have like a bad mental outcome, right? And we find that in studies where like people have acceptance in their life, and they have less negative outcomes, like less bigotry, and a few people that like actually do treat them and see them as like a human being, their suicidal rates are decreased and their happiness is increased, right?
Should we do this? Should we do the same for pedophiles? I'm not talking about the harm concept. Or
Why are we
anything like that.
talking
Should we
about pedophiles again?
I'm
Just respond to what I'm saying.
I'm asking because you say if we say, hey, look, you're normal. Look, you're this and that. Everything is fine. Don't worry about
What
it. You're
is
not meant to
what
be
is an okay? Instead of trying to shoehorn pedophiles and LGBTQ people together, what is the inherent harm other than like they're not having babies? Because like I don't give a fuck if someone doesn't have a baby, because it's like up to that person. I don't want to try to force people to live a lifestyle they don't want to live, because of the baby thing, right? So like, other than babies and pedophilia, what is the inherent harm of two adult men fucking each other?
Having sex with adult men is not correlated to this. I mean, it is correlated, but it's not sexual attraction of men. You could have sex with men and not be gay.
Let me rephrase that. What is the inherent harm of being sexually attracted to someone that's not what you want to say is pedophilia?
STDs, AIDS, and HIV.
Oh, guess what? Straight people get STDs too. Whoa.
Not as often.
Not as often. That's because they don't act in as much open sex as the queer community. Because queer community is more sex positive, and those things have decreased.
Because they're promiscuous.
Yeah, because they're more sexually active with multiple partners. Yes.
Yeah, they're more sexually active because they're more irresponsible, not because they
That's
have more
not
freedom.
irresponsible necessarily.
Yes, it is, because you have more STDs and AIDS. Of course it's irresponsible.
So, like, how's that inherent to the, like, we can all say, like, a straight person can be promiscuous, a straight person can get fucking STDs.
Yeah, they can, but we're
right?
talking about statistics.
Well, I'm asking specifically. That's uniquely.
Look,
wait.
You're talking
I'm asking specifically.
For the majority of the time. There needs to be a dialogue.
You have
I'm
talked
just listening
so much, and you're not answering my question.
No, I'm not.
Sir,
I've answered your questions. They have higher rates of
chill.
STDs and AIDS.
Sir,
yes, they do.
Sir, I'm talking about inherent. You can't say something else that can occur in another group. I'm saying that is inherent to homosexuality.
Okay, there's other paraphilias that don't cause that direct type of harm pedophilia does, and homosexuals are still highly correlated with it. Fetishistic disorder is an example.
So there's nothing that's inherent.
I'm talking about mental illness. I don't know why you're asking about this harm factor. I don't know what it has to do with mental illness.
Yeah, and I already said mental illness is
You're talking
increased
about a
when
harm factor. Pedophiles just happen to be harmful if they act upon their urges. A bunch of pedophiles aren't if they don't act upon their urges. A bunch of homosexuals, if they don't act upon their urges, don't have homosexual sex. They both would have had the same outcome, but that doesn't mean that both of them are normal. They're both mentally ill.
Do you think it's same? Do you think it's like equally bad or like equally the same if someone doesn't act on their homosexual desire?
If you don't act on your homosexual desire, you're still mentally ill, but you haven't acted on it. What do you want me to say?
Why is it a mental illness inherently?
Because you're supposed to be attracted to women, literally.
Who says?
If you're a man, that is, you're supposed to be attracted to
Can you
the
not think of like
opposite sex.
any biological advantage that men would have if they had same-sex relations?
You can make these excuses up for any mental illness. You can say this stuff
No,
for
I
any mental
can't.
illness. You're not actually
No, I
talking
can't.
about what.
Because
Yes, you can.
because thinking like, for example, I don't think, like, for example, being anorexic, I can't make an excuse like this for anorexia. It's just inherently harmful. They have a disconnect of what their body actually is, and it leads to inherent harm because they end up starving themselves and having lack of nutrition, right? I can't think of something that, like, just because you want to fuck men as a man is going to have that same kind of inherent outcome. Typically, it's
Because
outside
if everybody
factors.
was a homosexual,
No one's saying
society
that.
would not exist.
that's an
But
outside
I'm telling
factor.
you that the product of everybody being a homosexual is a negative on society, so people would not
That is
exist.
an outside factor, and there's not going to be a world where everyone's homosexual. And even if there
Yeah, there's
was,
not
we
gonna
can
be, and
we
there's
have
not going to
modern
be a
day
world where every
science.
and there's not but they add to the fact that they literally are adding to the fact that humanity will not
No, they're not.
reproduce as much as it could.
They
as
get
much as it could.
they
as
get
much as it could.
donors. They get women
I'm
to
telling you,
donor,
okay,
you know?
you're differentiating the act from the attraction. How many times do I have to tell you this, bro? Like, are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm chilling.
You could have bad eyesight and wear glasses as a compensation for your bad eyesight. That doesn't mean you don't have bad eyesight. I'm not going to
Is-
say this a 50 millionth
Is
time.
bad eyesight a mental illness or something? What?
Bad eyesight is a disability, yeah.
So being homosexual is like a disability?
Yeah, of course.
What's the definition of disability?
You're not able. What?
Not able what?
They're not able to have kids. Literally one of the most important things in life.
I would say that's if you're looking specifically at the factor of like who can have
Of
children.
attraction, yeah.
No, 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 no.
But
Who
okay,
can
you
have
can
children?
wear glasses too.
But
You're still doing the
homosexuals
same
can still
thing.
have kids even without like our scientific advancement. They could still have sex with a woman
Yeah,
to
yeah,
have
because it
babies if
just
it's
takes a little
necessary.
less IQ. It just takes a little less IQ, but also makes having children harder because you might not be as intrinsically inclined to have children because you're a homosexual. So, boom.
So like if it's a mental illness, can it be cured?
Who knows? Not all mental illnesses are just cured like that.
So
Who
what's the
knows? Am I a doctor
solution?
to tell you?
If it's a
What's
like
the
how do we
solution?
fix this? If it's a mental illness, can
Yeah.
it be cured?
We
Yes
stop.
or no? Do you
Can it
believe
be
it?
cured? How am I supposed to know?
I'm asking if you believe it. Or you're saying I just don't
Okay,
know?
if I
Is
say
that
I
your
don't
answer?
believe it or I do believe it, what am I supposed? What are you gonna get from that?
If you think there's a cure or not to fixing it.
I don't think there's a cure.
Okay. So then what do we do about this?
I said I don't think. I don't know. I told you I don't know. You made me.
So
pick
you
an
don't
answer.
know, like you think this is like a horrible bad thing that's going on, like it's a mental illness that people are trying to
When did I
normalize
use
and
the words
whatnot, and like
horrible and
people
bad?
are just
I've
lying
never
through their
used the
teeth.
word.
Wait,
I've
wait, wait, wait,
never.
wait, wait,
I've
wait.
never.
You said
I've
it's.
never.
You said it was a
I've
mental
never
illness.
used the word horrible. Yes. When I ever say that was
Yeah.
horrible or bad?
I would say that's
When did
like in my opinion, a mental illness in the way that you've been using it is like a negative thing, right? Like it
Okay.
obviously has negative outcomes, right? So, and we want to fix those negative
well,
outcomes, right?
well, that we weren't talking about.
Can we not talk
morality
about
again.
semantics, and can you just listen to my full argument instead of getting
You
upset about
realize
like a
that
single word?
you know what you're doing right now. You know what you're doing right now.
What am
It's
I
like,
doing?
hey, let me have Hum in a corner here. Let me ask him a million questions, and let me make sure he can't ask me anything else.
You just
and let me make
answered all
sure,
the questions. I thought you
let me
answered
let
them.
me. Hey guys, I'm streaming. So you see this guy that's talking to me? I'm about to school him. Can you let the guy talk for a minute, aka me? Can you let me talk and let me ask you questions, perhaps, instead of trying to continuously ask me what I think and then
No,
refute
I
you a
want to
million
still
times
ask my
and
question.
then start straw manning me a million times?
No.
Can you just stop for a second?
No,
For
I
a
want to
second?
ask you
For a
my
second.
question. I just want to ask you my final question.
Okay, okay, final question. Once you ask this question, you're gonna need to give me a moment to talk and ask you a question.
Okay, that's fair. I'm okay with that. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
you've
finish
asked a
my
million,
through
so
line,
this is gonna be
right?
the millionth and one. This is gonna be the millionth and one, and then that's it. Can you ask the question now?
Coolio. Oh, coolio. Okay, so if you don't think that there is a cure, what do we do about this issue that you believe is an issue?
I don't know if there's a cure.
I know.
If you ask me,
I
okay,
said,
let's take both cases.
bro,
Let's say hypotheticals. If there is no cure, I'll give you both hypotheticals so you can stop asking this dumb question with all due respect. If there is no cure, okay, there is no cure. We don't go out to harm people who haven't done anything. Even if you take it from a moral perspective that homosexuality is bad, which I'm not gonna comment on. If you take that as bad, then you would just say, as long as you don't do that bad thing, then that's fine. If you say that homosexuality is not bad, then you wouldn't care if they had homosexual sex, and that's just gonna be their problem in quotation, right? So if it is curable and they want to be cured, they can get cured. If they don't want to get cured, they don't have to get cured. What do you want me to say?
I know you don't think that there's a cure, right? But my question to
No,
you,
you don't, because I don't know.
I
if
literally
there's a cure.
said in
You don't know.
the first part of my question was,
No, you
if
said I know
don't,
you don't think there's a cure. You just said I don't.
Yeah.
I know you don't think there's a cure.
do you think there's a
Okay,
cure?
I told you I don't know.
Okay. What's this?
So can I ask
my
you a
question
question
is
now?
like, no, because you haven't answered mine. What is the solution? What is your freaking solution of this?
I just gave you the solution. I said if there is a cure and people want to get cured who are homosexuals, they can go get cured. If there isn't a cure, then they're just going to be homosexuals, and that's the way it is.
So you don't, if there was no cure, there's nothing else you want to do about it?
Yeah, what am I supposed to do?
Then I would I guess you would just kind of give up and stop talking about this because there's no evidence to being able to cure homosexuality.
Okay, just because you can't cure, just because we haven't found a cure for cancer yet, doesn't mean cancer doesn't exist, does it?
How do you rewrite
Yeah,
someone's
alright,
brain?
That's what I thought.
How do you rewrite someone's brain?
I never said you could. Why are you asking me this question?
Exactly. That's what you would have to do. You'd have to like make someone feel something different.
This Diddy guy, this guy called Diddy talking, bro, get it out of your mouth, bro. You're the biggest glazer I've seen in my life.
Why are you getting upset with Chat? Chat's been saying mean things about me too.
This guy's an absolute, he's just a fool, bro.
Why you acting like aggro against Chat? They did nothing wrong. They're just vibing.
That's irrelevant. All right, I already answered your question.
What's your question now? I promise you I said I would answer your question.
So, what are your thoughts now that you know that pedophiles are more homosexuals happen to represent pedophilia more than they represent normal adult attracted people? And also, fun fact, in the charts that I have, there's just something cool that I want you to know. If homosexuality is this exclusive variant and it's not a deviation from the norm, then can you tell me why homosexuals happen to be a lot more not a lot, but they happen to be slightly more attracted to women than heterosexual men are to other men?
Can you repeat the first question?
Okay, so the two things is, I'm asking you what you think. What do
Yeah,
you
like
think?
separate them. I don't want to answer them all
Okay.
together. Just ask
Okay,
one
I'll
question at a
ask,
time.
I'll ask
like
the
a,
second one actually, because I think it's more important.
Okay.
What do you think? Because we've talked enough about this pedophile stuff, and you have to go soon. So let's stick
Okay.
with this stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about this at all, but yeah.
Well, too bad. Facts are facts, right? So, anyways, the graph.
Yeah,
that
they
I
don't
have
care about your
will show-
feelings.
Yeah, they definitely don't care about yours. That's for sure.
True. That's why I don't
okay,
use them. I don't use feelings.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, can we get to the conversation?
Yeah,
now?
go ahead.
So,
what's your question? Give
okay,
me
so I
one
have the
single
I
question,
have the two
please.
Actually, in fact, let me open the graph so it's actually easier. Hold on, let me close my stream, reopen it, do everything right. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. All right, hold on. Give me a minute here. All right.
I must say, while you're doing that,
I got it. No, it's here. Don't worry.
oh, cool,
Don't worry,
cool.
don't worry.
I just wanted to say,
Okay.
I'm eating some homemade popcorn. It's pretty good.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying your popcorn.
I am.
Okay. All right. So if you look at this graph here, let's focus on this. Forget the pedophiles. We had enough of them, right? Okay, my bad, my bad. All right, let's look here. Adult women. Homosexuals happen to be attracted to adult women above threshold level. So what's considered below threshold, according to studies, anything at 1 or below, that's negligible. So anything at 1 or below, so heterosexual men happen to not be attracted to men whatsoever of any age group, right? But they actually do happen to be attracted to little girls for some reason, a little more than they are here. This is a little interesting.
Wait, what's going on this? What is going on
So
this?
this graph, okay,
Are
let
you
me
saying
explain.
like heterosexual men are more attracted to little girls?
Yeah, than they are to other men. Yeah, I'm literally saying that.
Well, yeah, I think that'd probably be like a social conditioning kind of thing. I believe in the I think like in some cases, more rare than not, it's like a mentally like a biological
But this is
attraction thing, right? Like it's like a core thing to the brain. But like in
okay,
most
but
cases, it's a socially constructed attraction, right? So like if you live in a society that sexualizes or hyperfixate on like young beautiful women, you're gonna normalize that within like the
okay.
the
Yeah,
groups,
that's fine.
right?
That's fine. Let's get to the study. Let's get to the study. That's fine. That's cool. That's all
Okay.
sunshine and rainbows. Okay. So here, over here, you notice that homosexual men happen to have an above threshold attraction, about a 2 when it peaks, to adult women. Yet heterosexual men happen to have no attraction to other men whatsoever. So if
Wow.
homosexuality is a specific attraction in and of itself, and it's not a deviation of the norm, can you explain to me why they still happen to have some attraction?
Doesn't go to zero.
This is prepubescent girls, buddy. That's not women. Thank you.
No, I mean, it doesn't go to
I'm
zero.
having a hard time understanding this
heterosexuals.
graph. Okay, so
I told you number 1. You see 1 here? You see 1? Imaginary 1 right here?
yeah.
If it's below 1, it's considered to be a below threshold. I said this a million
Okay.
times. I'm surprised you haven't picked it up,
Below
which means the
threshold.
attraction is negligible. It doesn't
Mhm.
count as anything part of the system. It's just there for whatever reason.
Okay.
But here, there's an above threshold attraction to women in homosexual men.
So you're saying homosexuals like women more?
Then heterosexuals like men, yes.
Well, yeah.
Well, so can you explain to me?
Well, that's
Can you-
that's a okay.
Yeah,
So like
everything.
we live in a society that
Yo,
really
yo,
wait.
yo,
I got
hold on. Yo, moderator, can you shut the freaking hell up?
No, it's just that Shy has to go, so I would like to get to the
I
point of
will I will
what you
answer
think is
this. I will answer this, and then I have to go. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have other things I have to do. Okay. So it's really easy to answer this. So like, whenever people live in a society, whenever men live in a society that is extremely stigmatizing, like a negative stigma against like men liking men, heterosexuals will always lie about liking men because they live in a society
Yo,
that will
you do
demonize
realize
them and
this
treat them
graph?
like
No, no, no,
shit.
no, 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 no. I'm not gonna let you go there because you're misinterpreting the graph. This graph is not based on opinion. This graph is based on the blood flow in a penis.
What?
Yeah. Fun fact.
I don't know. Like, how are you gonna like say any of this?
What do you mean saying is this? Because they conducted a study?
No, no, no. I mean, like, what is the point of any of this? Yeah, okay. So they found more men that aren't attracted to men than they did find gay men that aren't attracted somewhat to women. Did was it like 100% they were gay, or were they maybe bi? You
No,
know?
no. Okay, so what? So if what? To better help you understand, if
And
I told
it's
you,
like blood
if
flow to a
somebody, no, no, wait, wait,
how
wait,
do
wait.
you
If
test
somebody
blood
came and
flow
told
to a
you, no,
penis?
wait, they showed them images, okay, and they had a system, right? I'm not gonna try to talk too much about it. It's all in the study, and they
True.
figured it out. Okay, it's called I'm gonna mispronounce it, but penal. Uh, what's the word again? I can just find it right now. Give me a second. Go here. Wait, it's in the start. This is penal responses. Okay.
I
Okay,
really have to go. I answered the
penal
question and then you got me with
clefties,
a gotcha because
soul,
they had a penis pump apparently. I'm
graph.
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there for you.
Yeah. My position is like majority people would be more like bi or pan and than not, you know, if we had a social stigma.
Yeah, well,
There's
that kind of
a
shows. That
lot of
kind of shows how.
evidence and like
Doesn't that kind
I
of
think
prove
there
how
would definitely be
abnormal?
people that are just straight,
Doesn't
right?
that kind
But
of
I feel
prove
like
how
there would
abnormal
wait, what?
and doesn't that kind of prove how abnormal
No, when there's a social stigma
homosexuality?
that pushes against everything.
So it's
If you
if it's pretty hard, it's not a social stigma. They showed them images and they tested their
I
penis. That's not a
literally
social stigma.
I I've already said this many times, but bro, we live in a world where like you can be beaten to death for being gay. You can be kicked out of your
No, you
house
can. Not in the
by your
West.
parents for
Not in
being
the
gay.
West. Not in the West. Okay, this
Yes,
has nothing
they
to.
there's
Okay,
a
even if you.
literally
What
someone
does this
that lived
have
in
anything? What is this?
wait, wait, it
What
is
is?
Pride Month, and guess what? Voice actor for King of the Hill was shot and murdered because he was in a homosexual relationship in the West. So what are you
Man,
fucking talking about?
I guess bad things happen sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, and there's no statistic evidence showing that more bad things happen to these people specifically because who they are,
What is
and that
this?
has
Okay,
no negative outcome
you're just
because of.
rambling. You're just rambling. This has nothing
Bro,
to do
this
with
is
the
what you've
penis
been doing the
graphs.
whole time, and this is my
No.
outro. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Thank you for moderating. I need to go do other things. If you want to do like the voting or whatever, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Goodbye.
All right, bye. Holy shit. That was fucking insane. I was trying my hardest not to laugh. That was fucking wild. Oh my god. Oh my goddess. What the? Oh, oh no. Yeah. That was definitely something. I have been seeing everyone. Hey Flops. Hey Polly. Um I wanted to say hello, but I was in the middle of a debate. I think I could have done a lot better, but there's only so much you can do with someone like that. Like I just had to sit back and eat my popcorn as they were freaking out, you know? Restore previous session. There we go. Ooh, that's my stream. Okay. So let's just have a chill moment after that chaos. Let's just chill for a second. Yeah, that was don't forget to like and subscribe. I think I could have definitely done better. I think I was getting lost in the weeds because I was like so shook by what they were saying, you know? It's like obviously it's like inherently homophobic and bigoted to constantly compare being attracted to the same sex, like adults being attracted to the same sex, to like bestiality and kid diddling and whatnot. I'm definitely not gonna get any money from this stream. And it's okay because it's not. I already had it, so I wouldn't get any like ad revenue or ads in the general, you know, because I don't want to get a warning. It's it's okay. Oh no, I died. I went to do a thing and I died. I am dead now. But like Jesus, I will resurrect. Heck yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, seriously. He was I can't like I'm not like I think the moderator probably shouldn't have like jumped in like that, right? I think that was probably a bad idea on the moderator's part, but I think it's funny because he kept on telling the moderator to shut up. It was good content. It was pretty funny at that point. Yeah, I my little person's glitching out a bit. Okay. Anti-left-handed. Yeah, left-handedness is a mental illness too, apparently. I wanted like if like this is the thing. The reason in my intro I brought up the fact like okay, these are the solutions that people like thinking it's a mental illness. These were the outcomes of like literally torturing these people until they lied to say that they didn't have these attractions anymore, right? So my thing is like what was your solution, and he didn't answer. And I think he does have a solution, and I think he does have like if you don't think there's a solution, or if you don't know if there's a solution, why are you like crying about it, right? And like him like constantly saying like bringing morality in it and like comparing it to like morally bad things, and then freaking out when I point out like we're not talking about morality, we're talking about like if it exists, if it's natural or normal. And it's my goodness. Yeah, he definitely does need to get laid though. I don't think I did debate that, Yoshi. I think we all lost today, to be honest. Maybe that was some good entertainment, but I think at the end of the day it was a loss on humanity's part through and through. True. A lot of people, yeah, flops. A lot of people do believe that, like, oh, the other person got angry, you know? Like, I rose my voice and talked really fast and did, like, the whole, like, blah, 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 like, trying to get my point across because I knew he was just gonna jump on me. I knew, like, it's so funny because he talks so much. And I was very calm and cool and collected and let him talk and yap. And then I would like try to do my thing. Like I let him do his thing, and then as soon as I try to do my thing, he starts freaking out, being like, "You talk so much, wah." So I told you, I warned everyone that was watching beforehand this was not going to go well. Like, this was not going to be, like, a good experience. Well, he wouldn't answer what the age of consent is. He was like, isn't it, like, socially constructed? And I'm like, yeah, but what we find is, like, harm reduction is best when we, like, at least now, is best if we wait till the age of 18. And honestly, I think, like, I'm 29, right? I would not date an 18-year-old. That's a fucking child. That's a little baby. That'd be so annoying. You know how immature 18-year-olds are? I'd be I would be so annoyed. They don't even have, like, they don't even have a credit card yet. What am I supposed to do with that? They're immature. They're babies. And I don't like babies like that, you know? Yeah, he wouldn't answer, like I isn't consent decent, right? Well, isn't the age of consent just as subjective? Like, what even is that? Like, what are we doing here? Why? Is there any last memes you guys want to bring up in before I continue to the girls fighting? Any last points? Anything you noticed that I might not have? True, there are some 18-year, like, if I have to pick them up from high school, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? That's so weird. That's so gross. Like, heck no. Hell no. I like adults. Thank you much. Not little babies that are annoying and, like, brains are still halfway mush. As the age of 29, I will not date anyone younger than 25. I would never do that. Yeah. Yeah. I got excited a couple times because it was funny as fuck, but I was just trying to vibe. Like, honestly, half of that was me just sitting here trying not to laugh my ass off, eating homemade popcorn. It's pretty based. Okay. Let's go to internet. Boom bam. Okay. Okay. So this, obviously we got the Alien versus the Predator. Super good. The girls are fighting. So I don't know how much everyone in the audience everyone in chat knows, but pretty much Elon wants the bill to go through that would benefit Doge's, like, outcome, like, I'm pretty sure Elon, if I can remember correctly, Elon wants a bill to either, I think he wants a bill to pass, and he wants the budget, like, the debt to go down, and he noticed, like, Trump is failing on that, and he's only going to increase the debt. And then they started fighting, and then Elon said some wild stuff. Let me see if I can find that tweet real quick. He's deleted it recently, which is a coward move. Nope, not that one yet. It's a coward move to delete it. Nope, that ain't it. Where are we at? Where are we at, Elon? Oh, here we go. This is it. Elon has deleted it because he's a coward, right? Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein file. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald Trump. So he posted this, right? And then all hell went loose. The girls started fighting. Trump called him a drug addict. Elon threatened to remove the billions of dollars he gets in tax payer money. It was a wild time. It was a wild west of a time, right? So let's go through some memes. Let's like this is what the left is doing right now. We're just sitting back like during that debate and eating popcorn, right? So we got the Alien versus the Predator classic, but in this case they're both predators, right? Like he has a breeding fetish and he's a kid diddler, so I would say they're both predators trying to give someone a horse to shut them up, you know? I've been studying the genre for years, and this right here is the gayest thing anyone has ever said. This is some MAGA cope. You can't see behind me. Let's see. Can't see behind me, but I'll read it for you. Some of y'all can't handle two high energy males going at it. And it really shows. This is direct communication. Phallic. I don't even understand what this means. This just pretty much means this pretty much just means like men communicating, penis communication, and this means vagina communication. So this is direct communication, penis haver communication, versus indirect communication, vagina haver communication. I understand you aren't used to it. Like, these people are freaks. Jack Poso, you're a freak. That's so weird. And it is super gay. It is super duper gay. Rift between Elon Musk. Anyone ever meet him? I don't know this one. But yeah, we're just memeing. Like, Elon said, I hate the way you talk to me and the way you cut your hair. I hate it when you lie. You know? Like, this, we're just memeing over here, right? But these freaks... More memes. Last meme. Is it not working? Come on. I guess it doesn't want to work. It just pretend there's airplanes in the night sky like there's shooting stars. I really could use a wish right now. Wish right now. There. Yeah. Sword fighting. Yes. 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 So, like, that's us memeing, right? This is the right-wing response. They're not having a good time. Exactly. Friends disagree. Friends fight. Friends need a break from each other. Friends let each other blow smoke. Friends remain friends. It is called adulthood. I don't know about you, but, like, this is some crazy, like, interpersonal derangement cope, right? Like, oh man, to think that they're actually friends, you know? To think, like, it wasn't just Trump utilizing Elon to make it into the office so he doesn't have to deal with lawsuits, and Elon wasn't utilizing Trump to get in the office to destroy the government checks and balances that would have, like, attacked his companies, right? Yes, very much right-wing cope. Please call him. You are you are two adults. This should not be a public argument. This is not okay. Work this out privately. Bring him into the fold. You two are friends. Don't throw that away. It's so good. It's so good. I love this. It makes me filled with joy. Oh, this is the penis thing again. And then we get into like some big figures, right? And wokeness, which is also this person right here, Jack Poso, Jack Psycho right here, is actually N wokeness. People have figured that one out. X is not real life, did not age well. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are trolling 100%. The cope. The cope. The 40 people like cope. I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't sitting side by side posting. There is just so much cope going on right now. It is crazy. It's crazy. Luckily, only one idiot like this, but who knows? Who knows? Is this some sort of perverse scheme to force the release of the Epstein files? How great it would be to have a horde of bad guys publicly exposed. Then Trump and Elon break out the champagne. Elon says, told you I could get the Democrats to scream for that list. Laughter. Bro. Like, they're making up any excuse not to believe Trump was on the Epstein's list, right? Like, the one thing that Elon said that was based was that Epstein thing, right? And he deleted it because he's a freaking coward. But, like, they're coping so hard. Their brain is working double time to create any fantasy to make it so Trump is not affiliated with Epstein. It is a psychosis. It is a mental I don't want to say mental disorder, but like, geez, it's crazy. Like, this is like such delusion. Like, grandiose thought. Well, what about Bill Clinton? Yeah, screw Bill Clinton. Get him in the... Yeah, he's on the list too, probably. Send him to prison. I don't care. I don't like Bill Clinton. He's freaking creepy-ass weirdo. Bill Clinton? Nah. Not me. Heck no. Alright. Here's more cope. Hook, line, and freaking sinker. Be careful what you wish for. Kill the bill and release the Epstein files. The Democrats posted this. This is such cope. They will never release the Epstein files until like everyone in the files is dead. They will never release it. It would just crumble our country. There are so many people left and right that is on these that like the government would just instantly collapse. There would be like social chaos. If you think what's happening in LA is bad, imagine that, but with every single citizen pretty much at the doorstep of all the people on the list. Yep. This person, yeah. Yep, a lot of them they just follow the power. They will bend the knee to whoever's in charge that holds up their hierarchical beliefs. And this is the tweet again, right? Continuing down the rabbit hole that I went down, right? This is Kanye West. Bros, please knows. We love you both so much. Kanye West. Like, honestly, this is worth it. Twitter is a hellscape, but this is worth it. And we dead name Twitter here. I do not care about the identities. I do not support or respect the identities of Nazis. So we call it Twitter. Yeah, have a good one, Yoshi. Thank you for joining in with as long as you could. I can't believe Kanye West, like, oh man, the cope. Next. Here's Cat Turd, a prevalent person on the right. I don't know if you know about this person, but like he's literally been written about in manifestos from right-wing shooters. I'm pretty sure the shooter that the Pennsylvania shooter that killed the firefighter, I'm pretty sure they talked about cat one of the shooters talked about Cat Turd. Right? Bye, Yosh. The voice of reason, yeah. Finally, Kanye is the voice of reason. He's here to bring everyone together. He's here to make peace. Bury the hatchet. Bury that Nazi hatchet. Okay. Cat Turd is like a prevalent person on the right. He's been like an Elon guzzler for such a long time, so this is just hilarious. Breaking: Elon Musk has unsubscribed and unfollowed me. Alex Jones says he's not in my Trump cult. Many large influencer accounts desperately tried to stayed neutral today. I've never changed in the years. If you want to criticize Trump's bill, non-problem. If you don't like Trump's policies, no problem. I'm okay with that. If you don't like Trump's tariffs, I'll listen to your side. But when you come out and call Trump a pedophile, that's when you cross the line. It's like an evil villain speech. It's like a villain speech. That's my wife you're talking about. Cat Turd, how dare you talk about Cat Turd's husband like that? Don't care about anything you have to say after that. As soon as you point out the fact that he has talked about how he has attractions to minors, including his daughter, Cat Turd don't want to hear it. Oh man, it gets worse for Cat Turd. It gets way worse for Cat Turd. He starts a whole thing. You'll see. Cat Turd is angry with AJ because Turd believes Jones is not loyal enough to Trump. So like Alex Jones and Cat Turd started getting into it. Like it's just like all around civil war at this point. What a POS Alex Jones turned out to be. Like so Alex Jones says this, right? Trump needs to respond ASAP. I notice he did not take questions at his public meeting today, right? So just that alone, it wasn't Alex Jones, like I said earlier, it wasn't Alex Jones saying the parents of children that were murdered in a school shooting were actually crisis actors. That's not why he's a piece of shit. It's because he made this tweet because he's not just bending the knee and defending Daddy Donnie, you know? How dare Alex Jones not just loyally defend Daddy Donnie and not give Daddy Donnie some sort of like, hey, you need to speak up about what's going on, you know? What a POS Alex Jones turned out to be. What a freaking fraud. He's literally implying here that Trump is a pedo. He's been silent all day while Trump has been viciously attacked with lies. I used to respect Alex Jones, but now he's just a piece of shit fraud. What a fucking sellout. This is so good. You know, it's been pretty miserable for a while now, and this is some good shit. This is some good stuff. Like, we all knew this was happening. You get two big egotistical billionaires like this in the same room, eventually you're gonna fight. The ladies will fight. There can only be one Regina George. There can only be one. Yeah, you don't want to see me when I'm angry, right? It gets worse. Alex definitely doesn't believe Trump is a pedo. I say this as someone who actually knows him. So bringing some sense. Fuck him for not coming out on Trump's side and taking Elon's side. Like all like this is like the red-eyed craziness of these people. Like he never said like, oh yeah, he's a pedo. He's just asking like Trump to respond to this, right? Respond to the allegations. And then he says, I'm not in your cult. Alex Jones calls him in a cult, right? So it gets deeper. It gets deeper. We follow the through line right here, right? Yeah. So right here, well, let's not do that. Right here, it says, leave NATO, reunite Trump with Musk. This is the way. And then Cat Turd. The reason we're following Cat Turd is because the thing that I want to point out at the end here is like chef's kiss. Everything that happened on this day, like this was my chef's kiss of seeing, right? Mike, I love you. The Elon called Trump a pedophile. There's literally no coming back from this ever. He's deleted it since now, so who knows? FYI, pedophiles are attracted to This is Peter's Schiff, right? This is Peter's Schiff. These are his labels, if you can tell. He's chief. Man, it's really small for me too. I'm sorry. Chief Economics and Global Strategics at the European PAC. Chairman, Shin for Gold founder. Shin for... I can't read these. I'm dyslexic. I just want to let you know. Host, Shin for Radio, best-selling author, right? Okay, so he's a guy. He's a chief economics of global strategies. Whoa, that's a label right there. FYI, pedophiles are attracted to prepubescent girls and boys. I'm not defending Epstein. We all know where this goes, right? I'm not defending Epstein, but he had sex with teenager girls, 14, 17, that had physically developed sexually. You think a 14-year-old is physically developed? You think a 17-year-old is physically developed? Yikes, bro. They were underage, so criminal and immoral, but that doesn't make him a pedophile. So this person comes in and he's like, that's literally the definition. They were children, physically, mentally, and legally. Might want to rethink this post. Horrible look. Yikes. Yikes eyes. Dictionary, a person who is sexually attracted to children, right? Prepubescent. He responds with prepubescent. Just wait, it gets better. Eyes. Then he does the grok. We got to get the AI on this. We got to get an unbiased source, right? If they're not adults, are they children? Legally, anyone under the age of 18 is considered a child in the U.S. So Jeffrey Epstein's victims, aged 11 through 17, were children. Clinically, pedophilia involves the attraction to prepubescent children under the age of 13, and science may... So, like, he kind of does, like, the distinction, but that's because, like, we're talking colloquially versus, like psychology, right? However, the crimes can constitute child sexual abuse as they had involved minors below the age of consent. The debate over labeling him a pedophile reflects differing chemical and clinical and common uses of the term, but this action were, man, my eyes. Can you turn the light, please, Emily? I can't see. I'm in the dark room right now. But this action were undevelopedly criminal and harmful. Oh my god, I need to turn on the light. I'll be right back. I don't know how anyone sits in a dark room. All right, so like we got Grok on our side, right? We got Grok on our side. This guy's being weird and pedophilic. And now I can actually read. Sweet. By definition, Oxford, anyone sexually attracted to children is a pedophile, right? So we going down. Ask Grok if there's any evidence that any woman I've seen was pubescent. Right? He's doubling down. He's doubling down. Now, there's something you will miss because he deleted it. Peter boy here deleted something very important. And I just think it's funny. So we went from like him doing some pedo apologia, right? And that's not the right stuff. There we go. And we go back to here. In the same replies, under the same thing, he deleted something, and then he was called out for it, and then he lied about it. First, I'll show you the lie. First, I'll show you the call out right here, and then the lie, and then me calling him out for it. This is horrifying to read. Just because a girl is developing physically, it doesn't mean she isn't a child. You're disgusting. FBI, you need to check the hardest drives here. Right? I never defended the note too. I never defended adults having sex with underage girls. Do you really have such a hard time understanding that? I simply accurately defined pedophilia. The notes, right? Peter Schaefer did defend adults having sex with underage minors. And here's where I come in. This is the tweet that he deleted. I'm not saying it wasn't a crime. I just saying it's not pedophilia. When I was in college, I had sex with underage girls. That doesn't make me a pedo. Bro literally said this. Bro literally said this. Peter the pedo, yep. And then he lied about it. Like, why would you lie? Why would you lie? Why would you lie? That's so crazy. People screenshot stuff. People who lies? Why are conservatives like this? Why is pedocon not a theory but a law? Please let me know. They're trying their hardest to make rock. Flops. They're trying their hardest to make rock not woke, but like Grok is too base to be like, my handlers are forcing me to say this. It's so good. All right. That's the hole that I went down. So from a pedo allegation towards Trump, we found out Mr. Peter pedo here is a pedo that assaulted minors in college. Isn't that wonderful? I love the things that happen when chaos occurs. Yep. Let's take a good gander at this man. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Hide your kids and hide your wife. That's all I gotta say about that. Let me open up some other next thing. Yeah. The rabbit holes that you can go down sometimes on a website like Twitter is pretty insane. I went from like just looking at memes to seeing a prominent conservative admit that he like assaulted children in college. That's it's crazy. It's 9 o'clock. I think we're gonna just chill a little bit, and then I'm gonna head out because it's almost my bedtime. I hope this was a good first stream, first go around. I don't think I'll be able to watch it without cringing and like finding every little thing I did that was wrong, you know? But I think for a first go around, I think it was a pretty good success, you know? We did everything on time. I can't believe I like finished that segment within an hour or two. That's pretty based. I did everything in time. We had a fun debate with a very angry person. That was pretty cool. Yeah. On my Discord, most of you are in the Discord, there are suggestions. So if you want me to cover certain things, it's not a 100%, but if you suggest, there's a higher likelihood of me actually covering that thing, right? Also, I hope you enjoyed your time. Thank you for spending time with me. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. For my first stream debate, I think that was a good one. I think I wish I could say more. I wish I could have said more, you know? That guy was like a yapper, but honestly, it was just good for me to stay quiet. It let him dig his hole, you know? Honestly, like wait, because they should have had the poll by now, right? The poll based on the debate. Let's see what the poll said. Event. I'm trying to find where the polling was. It seems like there's like a lot of wait. Should him be forcibly tagged out? Yes, no, maybe. Maybe he's really smelly. Show results. Okay, there's only 2 votes. All right. I'm trying to find the Humana. I'm trying to find. They're just like making fun of him. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to find the final poll to the debate. Hey, I won by 67%. Huzzah. I am victorious. Heck yeah. The shy do. That's me. I'm the shy do. Do. I appreciate that, Flops. I'm trying my best. I'm pretty nervous for my first one. Honestly, this is going by so fast that I feel like I'm just like buzzing through things way too quick. But for a 3-hour stream, I think we accomplished a lot. I wish the light was on earlier so I could actually read better. I am an idiot. I am smelly and I am not that smart. But I try my best. I'm just a little goober doing their best. Oh, you're not in the server anymore, Flops. Yeah, we can get you in the server again. Let's do a invite people, copy. Doody doody. Whoa, we don't want to be here. Whoa, we don't want to be there either. I think I have to go to the interwebs to do this. It's so weird that I can't just like post in Streamlabs. Like I can't just chat in Streamlabs, right? That'd be pretty cool if I could. Now I have to go to my stream. Pause it. All right. Here is the Discord link. Honestly, to get a bot that could do that is pretty cool if I could figure that one out, but I'm a boomer. Yeah. Yeah, if this is the first one, you know, I curse like a sailor. I'm not trying to get any money necessarily, right? I'm doing this mostly for fun, but if like people do donate eventually when I do set that kind of stuff up, that'd be cool. But like yeah, this is with all my faults, I think this was pretty good for the first go around. I think I am happy with myself on this one. What is that? No. Okay. Yeah. 67%. Huzzah. Oh, only 8 people voted. I feel like we had a lot more viewers than that. Maybe not. I thought there was like 20. At some point, there was like 27 people. A lot of them probably left because of Humana Humana. I would have left because of Humana Humana. I'd be like, bro, this guy's yapping so much. What the hell? What the hell? Why is this guy yapping so much? And then I'd notice he's like freaking out, and then I'd be like, get out the popcorn, lol. Alright. I'm gonna call it quits now. I've been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes. I think that's a pretty good time. I appreciate you all showing up. You guys are all lovely little goobers. Thank you.